Chapter 13-14. Seeing Zhu's expression, the flaming tiger scratched his head helplessly. He did not understand what the two of them were talking about, but he understood one thing. It was because Linley treated him very well, extremely well. If not, his cultivation base wouldn't have risen so quickly. Also, back then, he wanted to eat Linley. If it wasn't for Linley being soft-hearted and subduing him, he would have already died and returned to the 9 heavens. Brother Lei, looking at Lin Rei, a look of gratitude flashed across his eyes. That look was very tsk. That's enough. He waved his hand. He appreciated the flaming tiger's gratitude. After so many years, the two of them had gone through thick and thin together. They were even closer than blood brothers. He looked at Zhu again. At this moment, he was most concerned about the 2 drops of blood essence. They were good stuff. If he gave one to the flaming tiger, the rest would be his. Let's begin. 2 drops of blood essence. Zhu, looking at Lin Rei and the helpless look in his eyes, he gritted his teeth at Lin Rei. If not for the fact that he could not leave this place, he would not have given these 2 drops of blood essence. These were his life. Sigh, forget it. With a sigh, 2 drops of crystal-clear blood essence were spat out from Zhu's mouth. Suddenly, the surrounding spiritual qi began to gather. The spiritual qi was so vast that Lin Rei could not help but click his tongue. Thinking back to when he had devoured spiritual qi with the devouring heaven art, he had thought that it was a lot. However, when he saw the extent of the spiritual qi gathering, he admitted defeat. He reckoned that even the devouring clan would not have the ability to gather spiritual qi like this. The source of all this came from the 2 drops of blood essence. In comparison, Lin Rei's eyes burned with passion. He began to wonder if he could break through the Earth Saint realm and enter the Heavenly Saint realm if he devoured and refined just 1 drop. You little guy, you've really made the Emperor suffer a great loss. Zhu looked at Lin Rei and reluctantly put the 2 drops of blood essence into the jade bottle. Crack! A shattering sound was heard, attracting everyone's attention. They saw that the jade bottle containing the blood essence was starting to crack. Bang! A crisp sound rang out as more and more cracks appeared on the jade bottle. In the end, it completely exploded. F***ck. Lin Rei was dumbfounded. Zhu was dumbfounded. Even the scarlet flaming tiger was dumbfounded. This situation had come too suddenly. The 3 of them were caught unprepared. You don't tell me this bottle is of inferior quality. A strange gaze flashed as he looked at Lin Rei. Lin Rei wanted to refute, but the bottle was indeed broken. Moreover, this jade bottle was very expensive. It was practically the most expensive and best jade bottle he had. Brother Lei, I think you should change to another one. Who knows, this jade bottle might go bad. Lin Rei, Zhu, their gazes were focused on the scarlet flame tiger as if they were looking at an idiot. What the F***ck? Do you think this is some kind of fruit that will spoil if you can't finish it? What a joke. Of course, Lin Rei took the scarlet flaming tiger's warning seriously. Of course, it was not spoiled. He took out a new jade bottle. This jade bottle was the same as the previous one. It was also rare and was made of star jade. Its value was extremely high. He believed that if this jade bottle made of star jade appeared in the holy world without an owner, it would definitely lead to a bloody storm. I didn't expect you to have so many good things on you. Zhu smiled when he saw the jade bottle that Lin Rei handed over. Of course, he knew about the star jade. Back in the Untainted Land, this kind of thing was very rare. Of course, it was useless to him, but it was a very useful heavenly material and earthly treasure for godly realm cultivators. Hurry up and put it in. Lin Rei was too lazy to respond to Zhu's words. He rolled his eyes and said snappily. His gaze was focused on the blood essence. Looking at the blood essence fusing with the jade bottle, Lin Rei was very excited. At the same time, He prayed that nothing would go wrong this time. The blood essence was stored in the jade bottle as expected. This time, there was no sound of discomfort or the previous scene. Looks like the grade of this jade bottle is still, crack. Before he could finish his sentence, the cracking sound from before was heard again. Suddenly, the three of them were stunned. F***ck, we can't be so unlucky. His gaze fell on the jade bottle. He saw that the cracks were mending and the speed at which the cracks were gradually increasing. F***ck. Can't we play properly? After saying that, he raised his head and looked at Zhu with an expression that said, "You have to give me an explanation. F***ck. Don't look at me like that." He understood Lin Rei's expression. Zhu could not help but explain when he saw Lin Rei's resentful gaze. "Little guy, listen to me. The main thing is that the energy in my blood essence may be enormous. So much so that the power of your 2 jade bottles has not reached the hardness to bear it." "Yes, that's it." Are you sure?" Looking at Zhu, his strange gaze locked onto him. He looked up and down as if he was trying to see through Zhu's thoughts. "Unfortunately, forget it." Thinking about how the 2 jade bottles were not working, Lin Rei felt a headache coming on. These 2 jade bottles were the most valuable and also the highest grade. Now they were useless. "Yes, system, I still have the system." Thinking of the system, Lin Rei smiled. His divine sense entered the system and he raised his head to speak. His voice penetrated the entire system space. "System, stop hiding. You should know what happened just now. Tell me." He believed that the system was watching him at all times. Therefore, he did not believe that the system did not know what happened just now. Or perhaps, the system already knew that the jade bottles were useless against the blood essence. Time was of the essence. The system still did not respond. The space was silent and a sinister smile appeared on his face. "System, you're not coming out, are you?" The system still did not respond. In contrast, Lin Rei did not act like before. Instead, he picked up the sword and placed it on his neck. With an arrogant face, he threatened the system. "I'll give you 3 seconds. Come out and explain yourself to me. Otherwise, if I die, you'll have to find a new host. At that time, I can't guarantee that there will be a Hongmeng Supreme Body in 100 million years or 10 billion years. As he spoke, he held the sword hilt with both hands and placed it on his neck. Using his arm, he moved the sword in his hand and prepared to slash it from the right. TSK, a first-grade Saint-grade sword. I wonder if a sword of this grade can leave a few more scars on my body. Who knows, if I use too much force, it might cause a major artery to bleed. At that time, don't blame me for not. You're ruthless, you're awesome." Just as Lin Rei was about to finish his threat, the system's voice appeared. However, it was clear that the system was furious to be able to say such words. Chapter 13-15. Hee. Lin Rei was too lazy to care about the system's business. He only knew that he had achieved his goal. Other than that, nothing else mattered. Moreover, he thought that even if the system was angry, it would not leave him. At most, it would sulk for a few days so that the missions given to him in the future would be harder and the rewards would be cheaper. "Host, you are getting more and more shameless." Looking at Lin Rei's proud smile, the system could not help but comment. "Oh." Looking up at the sky, an imperceptible smile flashed across his face. He cupped his hands and said, "You flatter me. This is what I learned from the little dragon and Sir System." Speaking of which, Sir System and the little dragon were my first teachers. System. After Lin Rei said this, the system did not speak anymore. It had nothing to say. It could be said that Lin Rei had blocked its way. What was this called? Teaching the disciple to starve the master to death? Or was it that the student had surpassed the master? Enough, you just want a solution. The system changed the topic. not wanting to stay on that matter any longer. Lin Ray pricked up his ears. He wanted this final result. If it was not for the system's silence, he would not have done so well. Looking at Lin Ray, the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. However, the system still told him the solution. Don't you have a storage in the system? You can use the system's storage equipment. That's it. Hearing the system's solution, Lin Ray was speechless. After all this time, the final result had always been on his shoulders. Thinking about what he had done before, he felt that it was hilarious. Thinking about what he had done before, that's too scary. Get out. Lin Ray wanted to say something, but unfortunately, before he could finish, his spiritual sense returned to his body. But, I say, can you be a little more gentlemanly? He rolled his eyes and said in a bad mood. The system was not born. Lin Ray had already expected this, but fortunately, the problem had been solved. With that thought in mind, he strolled through the air and arrived in front of Zhu. He looked at the 2 drops of blood essence placed before him and raised his hand to grab them. Scared? A crisp sound rang out as Lin Ray's outstretched hand was broken by the candle. What's wrong? I won't stop you if you want to die. However, you have to wait until you send me out before you seek death, okay? Upon hearing this, Lin Ray frowned. Clearly, he did not understand Zhu's words. Don't tell me you didn't see it clearly just now? What? Lin Ray finally understood how painful it was to have an ending without a middle and a beginning. Sigh. It's a miracle that you were able to reach the saint realm with that level of intelligence. As he spoke, he didn't forget to mock Lin Ray. However, in the next moment, the mocking look on his face disappeared and was replaced by a serious and solemn expression. He pointed at the 2 drops of blood essence and explained, If you had touched them with your hand just now, I can guarantee that in the next moment you— Oh, that's not right. Your entire body and your soul would have received some kind of rumble and be mobilized. And after that? Linley said. He was not the slightest bit careless with regards to the energy within the blood. The reason why he had extended his hand earlier was because he wanted to store the 2 drops of essence blood. Otherwise, if others found out, the entire world of emptiness would probably start killing each other. Ignorant. The look on Linley's face was too dramatic, causing Zhu to feel a sense of defeat in his heart. Looking at Lin Ray, Zhu snorted coldly and continued, The energy within these 2 drops of blood essence is enough for a family to grow from an ordinary person to the peak. So, don't touch them carelessly, He raised his head and widened his eyes. An imperceptible and peculiar emotion flashed across his eyes. At that moment, Lin Ray's hand was already placed above the 2 drops of blood essence. His divine sense instantly wrapped around them. His divine sense suddenly moved. Just a moment ago, he was worried that the 2 drops of blood essence would be powerful enough to injure Lin Ray. Who would have thought that in the next moment, the 2 drops of blood essence would disappear from Lin Ray's hand. Looking at Lin Ray, Zhu increasingly felt that he couldn't see through Lin Ray. If he had thought of killing Lin Ray in the past, he wouldn't do so now. He realized that Lin Ray was hiding a lot of secrets. Just the fact that the blood essence had been taken away was enough to prove it. It seems that this little guy doesn't nag. As he thought about it, he began to ponder. Maybe. When he thought about the condition that Lin Ray had agreed to, he, who had originally wanted to try it out, began to believe in it. In comparison, Lin Ray wasn't sure. At that moment, Lin Ray was happily looking at the 2 drops of blood essence in the system's storage. Ding. Item detection automatically activated. What? Lin Ray was dumbfounded. Usually, the system was like a dead person. If he didn't nod his head, the system wouldn't say anything. Motherf ** cur. Ding. Item name detected. Zhu's blood essence. Beginning to detect the energy contained within. At that moment, he understood everything. The system had come for Zhu's blood essence. In comparison, Lin Ray was relieved. Lin Ray didn't stop the system. The main reason was that he wanted to see what kind of energy was contained within Zhu's 2 drops of blood essence. Time slowly passed. The system seemed to be silent. However, Lin Ray knew that this wasn't the case. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Suddenly, the system's voice rang out, arousing Lin Ray's curiosity. Ding! Detection complete. The energy contained within is equivalent to a small dark jade mine. Dark jade mine? Hearing this unfamiliar term, Lin Ray's eyes flashed with doubt. After all, this was the first time he had heard of a dark jade mine. He had never heard of it before. However, he had heard of many spirit veins. Moreover, there were many spirit veins in his storage ring. It's time to explain. Knowing that Lin Ray didn't know, the system opened its mouth to explain to Lin Ray. Dark Jade Mine is a mine in the underworld. It's similar to the Holy Spirit Crystal in the Holy World. However, the energy contained within the Dark Jade here is extremely large. Therefore, it eventually became the currency of the underworld. System, what's the exchange rate for Dark Jade? The system asked as it began to calculate in its mind. Ding. No comment. Lin Ray. He was dumbfounded. How could this be? No comment? What are you trying to do? Although he was angry, he still had to ask questions. After all, there wasn't much difference between him and an illiterate person here. Ding. Back to the topic. The energy contained within Zhu's 2 drops of blood essence is extremely terrifying. The host shouldn't absorb it without permission. This will easily cause unnecessary trouble. Moreover, the host now has the suspended mirror. There's no need to take the risk. The system suggests that the blood essence be exchanged for exchange points to repay the host's debt. Chapter 13-16. Lin Ray didn't say anything. Blood essence was such an important thing. No matter what, he couldn't just give it away. There was so much energy in the blood essence. Who knew what would happen in the future? If he couldn't deal with it, the blood essence would be able to resist for a while. Lin Ray didn't even consider the system's suggestion. As for the money he owed the system, he would pay it back when he had time. After all, he wasn't in a hurry. Okay, now let's talk about the Nether Jade Mine. The system knew what Lin Ray was thinking and didn't continue. Linley became serious. He was rather interested in the Nether Jade ore. If a small vein of Nether Jade was worth a droplet of essence blood, did that not mean that if he could find a vein of Nether Jade, he would be able to resolve the matter of exchange points, and he would even be able to give some to the Sect, allowing the Sect to return to normal quickly. By then, he would no longer have to be so cautious in the Saint's world, where he had to consider everything carefully. Lin Ray's eager gaze became even more passionate. It was like a raging fire that wanted to burn the system to ashes. Damn, can't you be more reserved? Seeing the host like this, the system couldn't help but remind him. As Lin Ray's system, seeing the host like this, it couldn't help but sigh. Sigh, forget it. Since things have come to this, it's better to help the host rise quickly. Otherwise, as he thought about it, the space suddenly became heavy. The system's serious voice sounded, Nether Jade, you will probably encounter it later. Lin Ray. Lin Ray didn't understand what the system meant. What did it mean by he would encounter it later? Actually, the Nether Jade Mine is the same as the Netherworld. It is in the Netherworld, and Nether Jade is the currency of the Netherworld. So, do you think you will encounter it later? Hearing this, Lin Ray's heart sank. His expression became serious. His heart that originally wanted to enter the Netherworld slowly calmed down. Nether Jade was in the Netherworld. If the Nether Jade Mine was worth a drop of Zhu's blood essence, then the Netherworld was really as weak as it seemed on the surface. Or perhaps what he thought of was just the tip of the iceberg of the underworld. In fact, it was not even the tip of the iceberg. Of course, there was also another explanation, which was that what Zhongli had said before was a lie. The sects in the underworld were very powerful, so powerful that they were enough to make Zhu fear them. F*ck, it can't be. His heart was in a mess. He wanted to enter the underworld, but he did not dare to do so. If a powerful existence like Zhu was guarding the entrance, then, for a moment, Lin Rei was conflicted. He didn't know what kind of decision he should make. The energy contained within the nether jade is extremely vast. It's even greater than the Holy Spirit crystals of the Saints' world. There's even a hint of the way within the nether jade. Something like this doesn't exist in the Saint Spirit crystals of the Saints' world. If I had known earlier, a saint would be able to break through the heavenly saint realm and enter the Tao integration realm. At this point, the system's voice became even more serious, as if what was about to happen next was very important. The nether jade no longer exists in the saint's world. It's something that only exists in this world. The way of the nether jade is even more powerful than the tendo in the saint's world. As long as you can cultivate the way of the nether jade, when you return to the saint's world, earth saints will be a piece of cake for you. You won't have to be like before and almost lose your life in the end. So what if you're a heavenly saint? As long as you can absorb the way of the nether jade, it'll be a piece of cake for you to break through to the heavenly saint realm after you break through to the earth saint realm. To put it bluntly, the cultivators here are incomparably powerful compared to the cultivators in the saint's world. Lin Rei was even more shocked when he heard the system talk about the underworld. He originally thought that he would be able to sweep through everyone in the saint's world. Who would have thought that he would be able to sweep through everyone in the saint's world? It turned out that it was just his wishful thinking. If Zhu did not make this move, he would have been able to sweep through everyone in the underworld without any scruples. In the end, he would have been the one to be swept away. Even leaving the underworld, it would have been a problem. When he thought of this, Lin Rei could not help but shiver. When he thought of his previous thoughts, he found them extremely laughable. "What's wrong? Are you afraid?" The system's voice sounded. There was a hint of mockery in its voice. Sigh. Lin Rei did not refute the system's mockery like he usually did. This was because he understood that he had been rash before. However, if the people in the underworld were so powerful, why were Zhongli and the others so weak? Lin Rei could not understand this. If what the system said was true, then Zhongli and the others should be very powerful. If he had guessed correctly, then why? Because once they leave the underworld, their cultivation will be suppressed. Of course, even if they return to the underworld and recover their cultivation, they will not be a match for you. Even in the underworld, your cultivation is at the level of an old ancestor. So, all right. Lin Rei shrugged helplessly. After a long time, it turned out that he had been wrong. Seeing Lin Rei's listless expression, like a frosted eggplant, Zhu's teasing became even more intense. "Now, do you still want to enter the underworld?" Lin Rei opened his mouth. After the word "I," there was no more. Lin Rei pondered in silence. If he said that he was afraid of entering the sacred world, it was indeed a little. After all, it would be hypocritical to say that he was not afraid of such an unfamiliar place. If he said that he was not afraid, it would be even more unrealistic. However, if he were to enter or not, it was a very good question in Lin Rei's heart. In the outside world, seeing Lin Rei's silence, Zhu became a little impatient. In any case, he was also an expert. What's wrong with him? Is he looking down on humans or, looking down on ferocious beasts or something? How dare he ignore the Emperor? Does he really think that he is a golden bachelor? Is he so great because he is rich? Looking at Lin Rei's meditative appearance, Zhu finally could not bear it any longer and walked in front of Lin Rei. Looking at Lin Rei, who was still in a daze, he opened his mouth and blew out a breath. "What the f*ck is that smell? In the system, Lin Rei, who was in deep thought, suddenly smelled a terrible stench. In an instant, his meditative state was broken. With a thought, he exited the system space. Motherf ****. What is this thing? Looking at it, a bloody mouth appeared. The source of the stench came from this bloody mouth. That smell, tsk, it's sour and irritating to the eyes. Little brat, you are finally awake. When Lin Rei regained his senses, Zhu was very happy. As for what Lin Rei was thinking, if Zhu knew about it, it would probably be another great battle of the century. Looking at Zhu, Lin Rei was filled with anger. If not for the fact that he could not defeat Zhu would not be able to do anything to him. Huff, huff. I am not angry. When he thought about Zhu's strength, the anger that surged in his heart slowly subsided under Lin Rei's self-hypnosis. However, the stench from Zhu's mouth was still there. In comparison, Lin Rei sealed his sense of smell and walked to the side. Looking at Zhu's mouth, the anger that had calmed down was instantly ignited again. Motherf ****. You are an expert of your generation. How can you do such a childish thing? As he thought about it, he cupped his hands and said, May I know why you are looking for me? Lin Rei seemed to have forgotten that they were in the middle of a deal. Now that Zhu had given him the 2 drops of blood essence, he originally wanted to see Lin Rei's sincerity. He did not expect that the first thing Lin Rei said when he regained his senses would be this. In response, Zhu was stunned when he heard this. His entire being was in a daze. What do you mean by what? Big brother, have you forgotten the agreement between us? When he thought of this, his gaze towards Lin Rei suddenly turned cold. Little brat, you seem to have forgotten something important. Something important. Lin Rei was startled when he felt Zhu's murderous gaze. Suddenly, the matter of the deal from before came to his mind. After what the system had said, he had completely forgotten about it. When he thought about it, an awkward look appeared on his face. He scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. How could I, right? As he said that, he recalled his previous attitude. For a moment, his face was full of smiles and he quickly explained, Senior, you see, you've only given me 2 drops of blood essence. You haven't given me the bloodline grass yet. Besides, didn't I mention my condition? You have to bring me into the underworld. Look at me, damn it. Zhu was clearly unhappy when he heard this. I've already given you the 2 drops of blood essence. The deal should be more than 30% complete. His icy expression did not fade away. He stared at Lin Rei and said unhappily, Little brat, a deal is between 2 parties. I've already given you the blood essence. You should at least give me something in return. For example, he pointed downwards and continued, no matter what, you have to rescue me from this place. Rescue you? That's right. Rescue you. When he said that, a trace of shame and indignation appeared on his cold face. Back then, because the Emperor accidentally entered this place, he was young and ignorant. I thought that the Emperor's strength had reached the heavens. Back then, the Emperor was living a carefree life. Looking at Candle, Linley felt as though he had returned to that confident, carefree face of the past. Looking at him, an awkward smile appeared on Linley's face. That's right, he was indeed carefree. No, he was so carefree that he was trapped here forever. No, Lin Rei's expression was completely concealed by Zhu's eyes. In comparison, there was nothing wrong with Zhu's expression. However, the carefree smile on his face disappeared in an instant. It was replaced by anger, unwillingness, and endless struggle. Back then, didn't I just kill that old fellow's grandson? That old fellow chased after the Emperor endlessly. Tell me, can you blame me for that? Lin Rei was speechless. Lin Rei did not know how to respond. If he said that he blamed Zhu, he was not as powerful as Zhu. If he said that he did not blame Zhu, the old fellow that Zhu was talking about had lost his grandson. Humph! Even if I give the Emperor another chance, the Emperor will still not regret what he did back then. Lin Rei did not respond. Just like that, he quietly listened to Zhu's pretentious act. Furthermore, can't you at least finish telling me what happened? You don't even have an end to it. What do you want me to say? Little fellow, don't you want to say something? Seeing that Lin Rei did not say anything, Zhu said with a cold expression. No. What did it mean to anger someone to death without paying for it? Lin Rei was exactly what it meant. Zhu had spoken with such righteous indignation. Even if he was listening to a book in a tea house, he would still shout. Humph! You didn't see it back then. That old fellow's strength had surpassed the sage realm and entered the immortal realm. Back then, the Emperor was young and ignorant. No matter what, it was impossible for him to be suppressed. Understood. The story had reached this point. Simply speaking, Zhu Tai was too reckless back then. In the end, he died. However, according to what Zhu had said, Lin Rei had obtained an extraordinary item. What level was it to surpass the sage realm and enter the immortal realm? Compared to the expert sealed in the functional realm, who was stronger and who was weaker? Hey, are you listening to what the Emperor said? Seeing that Lin Rei was in a daze, Zhu reminded him. What? Zhu Tai returned to his senses and raised his head to look at Lin Rei. A confused expression appeared on his face. Seeing that, Zhu Tai's anger surged. You, humph. Forget it. Now that you know what happened, shouldn't you express your gratitude? For example, you should rescue the Emperor first. Zhu Tai's eyes were filled with a yearning for freedom. Lin Rei shivered as he looked at Zhu Tai. However, at this moment, Lin Rei was in a dilemma. Could he undo a seal that surpassed the sage realm? That was an unknown factor. Furthermore, he didn't even know how the other party sealed you. How was he supposed to deal with it? However, since he had made a promise to Zhu Tai, Lin Rei would naturally not go back on his word. He raised his head to look at Zhu Tai and asked, Back then, why did that expert only seal you and not kill you? According to what you said, you killed his grandson. He shouldn't have allowed you to be sealed here so easily, right? Indeed, there was no way to explain this matter. Wouldn't killing him be more satisfying? Why did he have to go through so much trouble to seal him? It was the same logic as taking off one's pants and farting. Wasn't this clearly looking for trouble? However, Zhu Tai's originally angry face was now filled with pride. The corners of his lips curled up into a smile. Humph! You killed the Emperor? What kind of joke is this? The Emperor is the lord of a realm after all. Forget about that old man. Even if someone more powerful than that old man were to come, they wouldn't be able to kill the Emperor. However, when it comes to sealing him, the Emperor can't do anything about it. Zhu Tai was still as arrogant and proud as ever. It was enough to tell what kind of state he was in before he was sealed. Lord of a realm? Which realm are you the lord of? Zhu Tai was from the primitive era. Furthermore, he had been around even before the primitive era. If that was the case, wouldn't that mean the lord of the Hongmeng realm? The lord of the Hongmeng realm. The two of them spoke at the same time. When they heard this, both of them were stunned. They stared at each other for a long time. You know about the Hongmeng realm? Zhu Tai raised his guard as he looked at Lin Rei. Logically speaking, the Hongmeng realm was even more powerful than the Saints' world. Even in the primitive era, not many people knew about the existence of the Hongmeng realm. However, this young man had actually managed to guess his identity just by speaking. Are you really the lord of the Hongmeng realm? Lin Rei found it very hard to believe. He had only guessed it earlier. He had never thought that he would actually be right. Chapter 13-17. Unknowingly, Zhu began to retreat. His vigilant gaze became even more intense. His heart was filled with feelings for Lin Rei. As for Zhu's identity, the system was in disbelief. The lord of the Hongmeng realm was something that it had never expected. Moreover, the system did not even give a hint. This was something that surprised the system. As for the identity of the Lord of the Hongmeng realm, the Scarlet Flame Tiger was at a loss. He did not understand the identity of the Lord of the Hongmeng realm. Looking at Zhu's vigilant expression, Lin Rei smiled. Lord of the Hongmeng realm, I didn't expect you to be in the empty underworld. Hee. Should I say that fate is not shallow, or should I say that the heavens are toying with me? He thought about the system's mission to help the Hongmeng realm unseal. Now, he had coincidentally met Zhu, the Lord of the Hongmeng realm. What are you smiling about? Zhu looked at Lin Rei and asked. Lin Rei. Zhu's current behavior made Lin Rei feel helpless. What was this? Wasn't it just an identity? Besides, the Hongmeng realm had been sealed. Why was the Lord of the Hongmeng realm so vigilant? Sealed? That's not right. Suddenly, he thought of something. He looked up at Zhu and asked, Zhu, can I call you this? Zhu nodded silently and replied, Yes. Good. He nodded and voiced his doubts. Zhu, when you left, was the Hongmeng realm safe? This was a very important question. If the primordial world was safe and sound when Zhu left, it meant that there was an even stronger enemy waiting for him there. If the primordial world was sealed when Zhu left, would those Zhu know the truth behind it? The system would always have a reason to ask the system about the Hongmeng realm. It was either that he did not have enough authority or that he was not strong enough. If he could get some clues from Zhu, then Lin Rei's eyes burned as he imagined this. He was like a hunter who had been waiting for his prey for a long time. Now, his prey had finally come to him. How could he not be excited? What do you mean by that? Zhu sensed that there was something amiss with Lin Rei's words. That was especially true when she saw Lin Rei's blazing gaze. That caused Zhu to feel extremely uncomfortable. It was as though she was being targeted. You go first. Answer my question first. This question is very important. Maybe you can get something you don't know. Lin Rei said eagerly. Hearing this, although he felt that something was wrong, in order to prevent Lin Rei from saying something he didn't know, he still honestly told him what he knew. He glanced at Lin Rei, then raised his head to look at the sky. His eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. It was as if the other side of the sky was his peaceful home. With a heart full of longing, he spoke of everything he knew. Back then, when Emperor left the Hongmeng realm was flourishing. At that time, the number of orthodoxies grew day by day. It was because of this that when I saw the prosperity of the Hongmeng realm, I, as the ruler of a realm, chose to head to the Hongmeng realm that Pangu had opened up to train. After all, opportunities were everywhere in this new world. I had originally thought that Pangu had opened up a higher realm like the Hongmeng realm. Unfortunately, it was only after I arrived that I found out that the Hongmeng realm was actually several levels lower than the Hongmeng realm. Hearing this, Lin Rei knew the answer in his heart. He became even more cautious about the system's mission. The Hongmeng realm was as good as new when Zhu left. However, it was now sealed. What was the reason for this? Or perhaps, after the ruler of the Hongmeng realm left, the Hongmeng realm had provoked some unspeakable existence. If that was the case, wouldn't the possibility of him completing the mission be even slimmer? When he thought of this, his heart became incomparably heavy and his expression turned solemn. He had originally thought that his future would be even clearer after breaking through the Holy Scripture realm and entering the Hongmeng realm. However, it now seemed that this was not the case. What's wrong? Did something happen in the Hongmeng realm? Lin Rei's expression and actions fell into Zhu's eyes. For a moment, Zhu's heart thumped and a bad premonition surged into his heart. The Hongmeng realm was his home. If something happened to his home, he would definitely do everything in his power to leave this place. For this, he would not hesitate to make a sound. He returned to his senses and looked at Zhu's anxious expression. With a sympathetic heart, he said, "About this, don't get agitated. Hurry up and tell me." Zhu roared angrily. At this moment, he was certain that something must have happened in the Hongmeng realm. As the saying goes, touching a dragon's reverse scale would result in death. The Hongmeng realm was Zhu's reverse scale. He did not wish for anything to happen in the Hongmeng realm. Alright. Lin Rei did not hide anything. He shrugged and said, the Hongmeng realm has been sealed. Everyone, everything and everything in it has been sealed. Of course, they have only been sealed. They have not died or been destroyed. Earlier, when I asked you if anything had happened in the Hongmeng realm before you left, I wanted to confirm my suspicions. Now, after listening to your words, I am certain that something must have happened in the Hongmeng realm after you left. Whatever happened in the Hongmeng realm must have been extremely destructive. Otherwise, the Hongmeng realm would not have been sealed. Boom! Suddenly, a violent energy appeared and a gust of wind appeared at the bottom of the cliff. Shit, what are you doing? The gust of wind arrived. Lin Rei and the Scarlet Flame Tiger did not expect it at all. Their bodies were sent flying the moment they came into contact with the gust. Bang! Crack! The two of them were pressed against the wall by the gust. The wall shattered and cracks spread in all directions like a spider web. Hoo-hoo! The gust of wind blew. Lin Rei was pressed against the cliff wall by the gust. He circulated his cultivation frantically as if he wanted to find an outlet to vent his unwillingness. However, shit, it's so strong. How am I supposed to deal with it? He realized that his resistance was useless. His body was pressed against the wall and he had no strength to resist at all. He did not even have the ability to fight back. He could not even break free from the gust of wind and find a safe place to hide. With Lin Rei in such a state, there was no need to mention the Scarlet Flame Tiger. It was completely suppressed. He turned his head with great difficulty and looked at the Scarlet Flame Tiger. He felt helpless. At that moment, he could not even put the tiger into his body. In the distance, Zhu seemed to have gone crazy as he unleashed the powerful cultivation within his body. This wild wind was stirred up by Zhu's powerful cultivation. Zhu's cultivation had already transcended the Wei integration stage and entered the eternal realm. As a Dao fruit saint, Lin Rei could easily resist her when her cultivation was mixed in the gust of wind. As for the Scarlet Flame Tiger, it was only a peak ultimate god. It had no strength to fight back at all. It could be said that Lin Rei and the Scarlet Flame Tiger could only admit that they were unlucky and suffered an unexpected calamity. Chapter 13:18. Arg, who is it? Who dares to do this to my Hongmeng realm? A voice filled with murderous intent reverberated throughout the abyss. Murderous intent swept out in all directions. The murderous intent was so immense that it condensed into a solid form. Lin Rei was shocked. When it came to killing intent, Lin Li knew that it was extremely terrifying. Because of the disturbance caused by killing intent in the past, in order to condense his killing intent and prevent it from interfering with his mind and his cultivation, he had focused on retiring. For a period of time, he had lived a carefree life, working from sunrise to sunset and resting. But now, after seeing Zhu's murderous aura, Lin Li felt as though his own murderous aura, in front of Zhu, was like the difference between an adult and a child. As for him, he was the child. In front of Zhu, he was completely powerless to resist. Just the power condensed from murderous intent was enough to kill him. Lin Rei was not exaggerating at all. Damn, if this continues, it would be strange if I don't suffer from internal injuries. Seeing that Zhu did not seem to be restraining himself, Lin Rei could not bear it any longer. Zhu, calm down. His voice was transmitted. However, what awaited Lin Rei was silence. It was as if Zhu did not receive Lin Rei's message at all. Damn, what is this guy trying to do? Is he trying to kill me? Lin Rei's mind was preoccupied. He communicated with the system with his divine sense and said, "System, can I enter the system with the Scarlet Tiger now?" Zhu, this old thing's cultivation is too strong. He has already gone crazy. If I don't think of a way now, when he wakes up, I'm afraid that only a cold corpse will be waiting for me. Yes, but because the other party is too strong and your strength is too weak, it will have a corresponding effect on you. So, you understand. Lin Ray rolled his eyes at the systems, you understand, and shook his head helplessly. His heart was filled with speechlessness. However, when he felt the pain in his body, he could not help but nod his head. All right. How much do you need? Just do it for a few days. Hurry up. Even if my physical body is sanctified, I won't be able to withstand this old thing's torment. If this goes on, my physical body will collapse. Lin Ray cried. At this moment, Lin Ray could faintly hear the sound of his own bones being crushed. This made Lin Ray very worried. He was worried that after this, his body would need to be repaired. Sigh, it's too difficult for me. At the same time, the system notification rang out in Lin Ray's mind. Ding. 1 million exchange points have been deducted. Protective shield will be formed around the host and the Scarlet Tiger. Ding. The protective shield has been activated. Host, please check. What? Lin Ray was dumbfounded. 1 million exchange points? F***CK. Wasn't it just to enter the system? Was there a need to be so greedy? Just now, Lin Ray was still thinking that it would be at most a few tens of thousands of exchange points. Now, Lin Ray didn't think so at all. He had underestimated the potential of the system. Host, you have to understand the difficulties of the system. After all, the other party is at the immortal realm. You're just a small Dao fruit sage. You're very lucky to be able to survive under such pressure. Moreover, you have to understand your own shortcomings. If you were at the Dao integration realm now, you wouldn't even be able to use 50,000 exchange points, let alone 1 million. However, the point is, who asked you to not be at the Dao integration realm? You're right, aren't you? Lin Ray was speechless. As soon as these words came out, no matter how reasonable Linley was, he was rendered speechless. This Motherf***Kerr had blocked all his paths of escape. However, at this moment, Lin Ray didn't dare to continue thinking about it. He felt that the pain in his body was slowly subsiding, and his heart relaxed a lot. Come to think of it, the protective shield set up by the system must have taken effect. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. Brother Lei, this protective shield is... Just as Lin Ray felt that the pain in his body was slowly subsiding, the Scarlet Flame Tiger's voice sounded in Lin Ray's mind. Its voice was filled with gratitude and relief. Are you all right? Lin Ray felt very guilty toward each other. If he had known that the candle cult would be so crazy, he wouldn't have left the Scarlet Flame Tiger outside. More importantly, the 1 million exchange points that the system had cheated him out of. If he had known that, he wouldn't have entered the system or left this place when Zhu had gone crazy. Brother Lei, I'm fine. What should we do now that Zhu is in such a situation? Moreover, as it spoke, the Scarlet Flame Tiger hesitated, as if it wanted to say something. What's wrong? Lin Ray asked with a slight frown. It turned its head and looked at Lin Ray. When it saw that the protective shield on Lin Ray's body was faintly discernible, its heart was filled with worry. Brother Lei, I think that we should quickly think of a way to leave this place. I feel that this protective shield on my body will soon dissipate. What? Lin Ray frowned. He opened his eyes and looked at the protective shield around him. When he saw the faintly discernible appearance of the system, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. Holy shit! System, don't tell me that this protective shield is about to disappear. The moment those words came out, Lin Ray's heart thumped. How he wished that his thoughts were wrong. Unfortunately, sometimes reality would play tricks on people like this. Indeed, the protective shield can only last for 5 minutes. From the moment the protective shield appeared until now, 3 minutes and 56 seconds have passed. Oh, that's not right. 59 seconds. If one were to ask Lin Ray to estimate the size of the shadow in his heart, there would be no need to calculate. It would be 100% certain. Inexplicably, when he heard the system's reminder, 10,000 alpacas galloped through his mind. Next time, when something like this happens, can you make it clear in advance? Gnashing his teeth, Lin Ray finished this sentence. Thinking that there was less than a minute left, for a moment, he was anxious. He turned his head and saw that the protective shield around the flaming tiger was faintly discernible, as if it would disappear at any time. With a thought, he covered the flaming tiger in an instant. Little tiger, don't resist later. Hearing this, the flaming tiger's body moved aside and quickly nodded. He understood that the moment of life and death had arrived. He did not dare to be the slightest bit negligent. Suddenly, with a thought, the flaming tiger's huge body was directly stored into the system. As for him, the moment the flaming tiger disappeared, he disappeared into the abyss. Bang! However, the moment Lin Ray and the flaming tiger disappeared, the mountain rocks where they were originally standing suddenly exploded. The mountain was shaking and looked like it was about to collapse at any time. In the system, he was safe and sound. When he looked at the outside world and saw the mountain collapsing and the clouds surging, he was shocked and speechless. This power has exceeded the range that Tendo can withstand. Chapter 13-19. In the outside world, Zhu was still madly releasing all of his cultivation. It was rare for the void underworld realm to not collapse due to such a powerful cultivation. It would appear that Zhu was right. This world is indeed not as simple as we imagined it to be. Thinking about how Zhu was still unable to destroy this world with his cultivation, it meant that this world's tolerance had already surpassed the limits of the sacred realm and even the Hongmeng realm. Thinking about the experts in this world, thinking about how he would be able to find an opponent in this world, Zhu's silent heart began to surge with excitement once again. As the saying goes, the edge of expectation would usually be accompanied by the appearance of opportunity. Thus, Lin Ray greatly desired the feeling of death. Only by doing so would his cultivation be able to rapidly increase. Furthermore, only by doing so would he be able to consolidate his strength and even surpass opponents of the same level as him. His yearning for the void underworld realm in the system space grew even stronger. At this moment, he was already impatient to enter the underworld realm and see exactly how powerful the cultivators of the underworld realm were. Brother Lei, how much longer will Zhu continue like this? Looking outside, the scarlet flame tiger asked. This, Lin Ray hesitated. With Zhu's current state, he truly did not know how long it would take for him to stop. Unfortunately, it was certain that releasing his cultivation for a long period of time would be a burden to him. If he knew that a sealed cultivator would exhaust his cultivation for a long period of time, the formation that sealed him would become even more powerful. In fact, if he were to release his cultivation, it would be absorbed by the formation and turned into nourishment for the formation. With that, the formation would be able to strengthen the formation and seal the people, things that the formation wanted to seal. Thus, Chu Feng believed that as long as he was a rational person, it would not take long for him to comprehend Zhu's madness and calm down. Chu Feng believed that Zhu was a rational person. Otherwise, he would not have been sealed for so many years. Chu Feng knew the characteristics of this formation very well. Thus, just like that, Lin Ray stopped thinking about random things. He sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Rather than having the time to think about random things, it would be better to use this time to cultivate and strengthen himself. Lin Ray started cultivating, while the scarlet flaming tiger lay on the ground, bored. Perhaps it was because it was too bored, or perhaps it was because Lin Ray didn't want to talk to it, but in the end it also started cultivating, and neither side paid attention to the other. Time quietly passed. After an unknown amount of time, the raging winds below the cliff slowly calmed down. In the end, the raging winds completely disappeared, and the area below the cliff once again became the same fog-filled area as before. Hu, feeling that he had consumed too much of his cultivation, his face was filled with helplessness and melancholy. Knowing that his plane had been sealed, although he was happy now, the pain from his body had multiplied. The pressure from the formation below the cliff was slowly eating away at the candle, trying to push it to the bottom of the valley again. Alas, looks like I still underestimated that old fellow's strength. I didn't expect that this formation would still be so powerful after so many years. Just the consumption of his cultivation was enough to make him reactivate it. Feeling that his body was getting heavier and heavier, Zhu was extremely unwilling. When exactly will I be able to leave this damned place? My plane is still waiting for Emperor to return and unseal it. Thinking about his companions and citizens who were sealed in the Hongmeng realm, Zhu's heart was filled with grief. He thought back to the time when he was in high spirit. At this moment, if he was given another chance to choose, he wouldn't make the same decision as he did back then. He knew that after he left, the Hongmeng realm would go through such torment. Back then, he wouldn't have left no matter what. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Otherwise, Zhu would have bought a dozen of it. Hu, exhaling a turbid breath, Zhu tried his best to calm his agitated heart. He scanned his surroundings, but he didn't see the people he wanted to see. Releasing his divine sense, he couldn't find any traces of the two people within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Zhu didn't frown, and his killing intent slowly emerged. Could it be that when Emperor went berserk, they ran away? Zhu began to doubt whether what Lin Rei said before was true. Now that he had given away 2 drops of blood essence, if he couldn't find them, then wouldn't it be a great loss? Moreover, he couldn't leave this place now. Because of his mistake, the formation had been reactivated. His body would be suppressed again soon. Even if he wanted to find them, he wouldn't be able to leave. Just thinking about it made him feel very sullen. Previously, he had a good impression of Lin Rei. But now, 2 words. Haha. Due to the system's notification, Lin Rei withdrew his martial arts and looked up at the screen in the sky. He saw Zhu's huge figure appear. Damn, what is this guy thinking? Lin Rei heard Zhu's muttering words clearly. It would be fine if he could subdue Zhu. If he couldn't, then they would never have any contact in the future. Of course, the most important thing for him now was to help his clan escape punishment and rescue them. As he thought about it, he looked at the scarlet flame tiger that was quietly cultivating. The corners of his mouth rose to reveal a smile. He nodded his head in satisfaction. It seems that you have really grown up. Now you even know how to cultivate diligently. In the past, although the scarlet flame tiger also cultivated, he was forced to do so. Furthermore, in his special space, even if he stopped cultivating, his cultivation would still gradually increase with the passage of time. He stood up and patted his messy clothes. Then, he communicated with the system using his divine sense and instantly disappeared from the system's space. In the outside world, at the bottom of the cliff where Linley had disappeared, the cliff was now completely gone. One could imagine what had happened after he left. Gulp. His throat wriggled as he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. His face was filled with shock. Earlier, he had seen Zhu go crazy. However, after that, he entered a state of cultivation. He didn't know what happened after that. Swish! Suddenly, a gust of wind came from behind Lin Rei. A middle-aged man was standing behind him. His eyes seemed to be sizing up Lin Rei. It was as if he was searching for the secrets on Lin Rei's body. When he turned around and saw the middle-aged man, Lin Rei was stunned. He sensed the other party's cultivation. Suddenly, Lin Rei understood. Zhu? I didn't expect that you would be so handsome after transforming into your human form. Indeed, at this moment, Zhu looked exactly like what all women yearned for. His face was like jade, his eyebrows were like swords, and his eyes were like stars. His eyes seemed to contain the entire galaxy. They were sparkling, and no one dared to look at him directly. In Lin Rei's eyes, this appearance was simply perfect. However, he didn't understand why Zhu would meet him in such a state. "Little fellow, Emperor thought that you had escaped when Emperor went crazy. Previously, Emperor had made wild guesses. I apologize." After saying that, he bowed and cupped his hands to apologize to Lin Rei. Chapter 13:20. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your plan first. You looked crazy just now. It seemed like you wanted to kill your way back to the holy world. That's right. The Emperor wants to kill his way back. He wants to see what kind of person would dare to treat the Hongmeng realm this way. The Emperor wants to know who has the strength to resist the entire Hongmeng realm and even force the Hongmeng realm to be sealed. The Emperor wants to see what kind of person this is. Zhu's face turned solemn. To be honest, the Emperor doesn't have the ability to seal the Hongmeng realm with his current cultivation. So, what? Linli cried out in surprise. His face turned solemn, and the pressure he felt towards the mission given by the system increased several times over. What realm was Zhu at? What realm was he at? What realm was the person who sealed the Hongmeng realm? Would he be able to unseal the Hongmeng realm when he reached the Hongmeng realm? Right now, Linli wasn't so sure. Of course, this didn't change Linli's desire to unseal the primordial world. After all, if he didn't complete the mission given by the system, the final outcome was obvious. As for the system, it would threaten him with his life. This was a price he couldn't afford to pay. His life wasn't just his. It was his family's, his friends, his lovers, his enemies. He wanted to become stronger. He wanted to be strong enough to intimidate his enemies. He wanted to be strong enough to make them tremble in fear. He wanted to be strong enough to make the entire universe tremble under his feet. Is there a problem? Zhu was puzzled by Lin Rei's surprise. No. Nothing. He raised his head and looked at Zhu. His eyes were filled with seriousness. Zhu, I want to ask you, with your current cultivation, how confident are you even if you go back? Don't say anything. Let me finish. Before he could finish, Lin Rei's voice continued. My suggestion is to improve your cultivation. When your cultivation is stronger and you enter a new level, you can return to the Hongmeng realm. At that time, you can unseal the Hongmeng realm. Furthermore, the cultivations of the people that the primordial realm remembers should have reached an extremely terrifying level. They won't die. As for you, if you return in your current state, you'll only be able to free yourself from the primordial realm. In the end, you'll end up losing your life. Therefore, Lin Rei's words were like the sound of a hammer that hammered heavily into Zhu's heart. At this moment, Zhu was silent as he sank deep into his thoughts. He had heard Lin Rei's words earlier and was considering them seriously. Zhu's silence did not surprise Linli. That was because he believed that everyone understood what he was thinking very well. What's more, Zhu had lived for so many years only because this matter concerned his reverse scale. Thus, the onlooker had a clear view of the situation. Wang. What's that? While Zhu was silent, a trembling sound was heard. Although the trembling sound was very soft, it did not escape Lin Rei's sharp hearing. He lowered his head and looked in the direction of the trembling sound. He saw a faint flash of light below. System, can you detect what's down there? Lin Rei did not want to go down to investigate because of his curiosity. This place was far too mysterious to him. No one knew what was down there. Now that Zhu Du had appeared, he was no longer shocked by what was down there. Ding, can I? Hearing the system prompt, Lin Rei was startled and a smile flashed across his face. Ding. Host's authority is insufficient. You do not have the authority to investigate what's down there. Lin Ray, what is this? Is it taking a breather? Thinking back to the system's breather just now, he thought that it would work. Who would have thought that he would be happy for nothing in the end? Forget it. There's no point in looking for you. I don't have the authority. I really don't know when I'll be able to obtain the authority. He rolled his eyes and ignored the system. Zhu, I say, coming back to his senses, Lin Ray turned his head to look in Zhu's direction. However, the moment he turned his head, he froze on the spot. The place where Zhu had been was now empty. The atmosphere instantly turned cold. F***ck, what the hell is going on? He released his divine sense and scanned his surroundings. However, to Lin Ray's disappointment, there was no sign of Zhu. Alright. Not being able to find Zhu, Lin Ray gave up and looked down, curiosity bubbling in his heart. To be honest, although he did not know what dangers were down there, as the saying goes, curiosity killed the cat. Lin Ray was undoubtedly the cat that was filled with curiosity. Let's go down and take a look. Who knows, there might be an incredible opportunity. He stopped hesitating and jumped down. Without Zhu's obstruction, Lin Ray quickly reached the bottom of the cliff. Plop! His feet finally touched the ground, and he felt much more at ease. You're finally down. As Lin Ray's feet touched the ground, Zhu's voice sounded in Lin Ray's ears. F***ck. He turned around and looked in the direction of the voice. He saw Zhu sitting on a rock in the distance and looking at him with a face filled with curiosity. You. Seeing Zhu's current appearance, Lin Ray suddenly recalled the trembling sound that had sounded from the bottom of the cliff earlier. Now that he saw Zhu at the bottom of the cliff, he vaguely understood what was going on. With a smile on his face, Chu Feng moved and slowly walked toward Zhu. As he walked, he told Zhu his hypothesis. The trembling earlier was the activation of the spirit formation at the bottom of the cliff. That spirit formation is the spirit formation that is suppressing you. As for you, after you frantically unleashed your power earlier, your cultivation was absorbed by the spirit formation, which indirectly activated the spirit formation. That is why you're here right now. What I said correct. Hearing Lin Ray's analysis, Zhu's eyes lit up. Evidently, he agreed with Lin Ray's analysis. Not bad, not bad. Lin Ray, I must admit that you're very good. Why don't you? Lin Ray's curious gaze landed on Zhu. This Emperor's cultivation is not bad. Why don't you? Why don't you take this Emperor as your master? This Emperor possesses the strongest martial technique in the entire Hongmeng realm. As long as you have the support of this martial technique of mine, your cultivation will definitely... Don't. Seeing that Zhu was speaking enthusiastically, Lin Ray immediately waved his hand to refuse. Earlier, he had wanted to subdue Zhu. If he were to take Zhu as his master, then all his efforts to subdue him as his subordinate would have been in vain. What's wrong? Do you think that with this Emperor's cultivation and experience, he is not qualified to be your master? In the next instant, Zhu's expression turned gloomy. It was as if he was about to explode at any moment. How about that? Lin Ray wanted to say yes. But, faced with Zhu's strength, Lin Ray could only go against his conscience and say, no, how could that be? After saying that, Lin Ray finally arrived before Zhu. Not caring about Zhu's current mood, he sat down. You've thought it through? Chapter 13:21. What? Zhu said coldly. Just a moment ago you were half dead and wanted to take revenge. What's wrong? Now you don't want to admit it. He explained with a smile. Zhu was speechless. His previous behavior was so laughable now that he thought about it. Not only did his anger not solve the problem, it also exhausted his cultivation. Now, he could only be suppressed here. Especially when he saw the gloating look on Linley's face, Zhu could not help but grit his teeth in anger. Ha ha! Zhu was angry, but Lin Rei was very happy. Looking at the sulking Zhu, Lin Rei did not interrupt him. Suddenly, his expression turned serious and his mental power gushed out and permeated the entire bottom of the cliff. Although Chu Feng knew that he might not be able to breach the spirit formation before him, he still wanted to see exactly what sort of spirit formation was capable of sealing an eternal Zhu realm expert. What made Lin Rei even more curious was that Zhu, with his powerful cultivation, could only reactivate the formation. How powerful would the formation be if it was truly activated? Thinking about it, as a second-grade sacred grade array master, his heart was itching. He could not wait to immediately decipher the formation and rescue Zhu. Lin Rei remained silent and Zhu did not disturb him. Zhu, who was in the immortal realm, had sensed Lin Rei's mental power the moment it appeared. He was shocked that Lin Rei could unleash such a vast mental power. According to his speculation, such a level of mental power had already entered the sacred realm. He was even more shocked by Lin Rei's age. In his spirit sea, Lin Rei's bones, meridians and so on all appeared. It was like a 3D image that appeared in Zhu's mind. From his bones, he knew that Lin Rei's bone age was less than 5,000 years old. What kind of concept was that? A cultivator who had entered the initial stage of the sage realm was less than 5,000 years old. This had never happened even in the untainted age. However, it had happened in the later world where spiritual qi was scarce. He was so young and he was a sage realm matrix master. What was more, Lin Rei's body was also at the sage realm. This was too much. If there were only one or two of them, it would still be fine. But there was no end to it. If they had known earlier, no matter which one of Lin Rei's, everyone would have to work hard to obtain it. As for Lin Rei's, there were less than 4,000. Tsk, what a monster! He smacked his lips and shook his head. His face was filled with envy. At that moment, Zhu thought back to the time when he was at this age. Back then, he had been a country bumpkin who knew nothing. At that time, his cultivation base was not even as high as Lin Rei's. Hongming's sovereign physique is indeed powerful. It is a complete set with the void bloodline. Motherf *Ker, if it was me, I wouldn't be able to cultivate to this level even if I were 4 or 5,000 years old. At this moment, Lin Rei had no idea that Zhu had seen through all of his secrets. Of course, with the exception of the system, as long as it was Lin Rei's sovereign physique, Zhu would be able to see through it very clearly. Even Hongming's sovereign physique was overlooked. Right now, Linli was concentrating all of his attention on inspecting the formation beneath the ground. In the underground world, Lin Rei's mental manifestation raised his head and looked with wide eyes. A very large and dense matrix had completely entered Lin Rei's line of sight. The size of the formation was beyond Linli's imagination. What's more, the combination of the formations was so perfect that Linli couldn't even begin to imagine that he would be left in the dust by such an enormous combination formation. He believed that even if his matrix was upgraded to the 9th grade of the Saint grade, he might not be able to break the matrix before him. It was not because of any other reason. The matrix in front of him was too large, too dense, and too high level. It was so high level that it made him feel despair. However, along with despair came opportunity. If he used this matrix as a foundation, he believed that he would be able to break through very quickly in the future. Based on his initial estimates, if he could meditate here for 1,000 years, his matrix would be greatly improved. Even if he couldn't break through to the 9th grade, he would still be able to break through to the 8th grade. After all, the profound meaning of this matrix was too obvious. This was equivalent to Zhu. This was originally a treasure mountain, but he had treated it as trash and thrown it here. If Zhu could carefully comprehend it, she might have been able to leave by herself long ago. Although they had only known each other for a short period of time, Zhu's personality could be seen from various signs. She was easily angered, too superficial, and could not control her emotions. She could easily ignite herself because of a single sentence. Thinking of Zhu's advantages, Lin Rei smiled bitterly. He communicated with the system with his divine sense and asked, "System, can this matrix be broken?" Ding. It is not possible. As the system's level is too low, it is not enough to break the matrix sealed by the sealer. Sealer? Although the system did not consider rejecting him outright, it seemed to have provided quite a lot of information. Ding. The host's authority is insufficient. You do not have the right to know. Lin Rei was speechless. Insufficient authority again. Ever since he had gotten the system, he had heard the words insufficient authority the most. Fine. I won't tell you. Lin Rei was too lazy to say anything to the system. He waved his hand and said, "Since I can't break it, can I suppress it so that Zhu can move for a short period of time? Don't refuse. I believe you will have it. I know the old rules. Just deduct as many exchange points as you want. Anyway, once you have enough lice, you won't itch." When he said that, the system was completely helpless. If it had known that this would be the result, it would not have allowed him to borrow money. Now, as the host, Lin Rei, had not let down the system's good intentions. He had borrowed money all the way. But there was no other way. The system did not prohibit the host from borrowing money. So, ding. The system store has an item that can temporarily suppress a matrix. However, the item may be expensive. Do you want to buy it? Yes. He knew that the system recommended it to be expensive. Moreover, to suppress such a powerful matrix, he could not think of a reason why it was not expensive. Ding. Okay, host, please wait a moment. In the system space, the store interface appeared. The items on the interface flashed quickly and no one bought them. The system was activated. The items flashed quickly. If Zhu saw this scene, he would be very shocked. He would even have the impulse to rush up and take them for himself. Any one of the products that flashed across the screen would be the one that he would be obsessed with. In the end, the screen kept changing. The originally dazzling items disappeared and were replaced by a weapon similar to a trident. The screen was fixed on the store interface. Ding. Time pestle. 150 million exchange points. The host confirms the purchase. Ding. Time pestle purchase successful. The host has successfully purchased a low-grade Taoist instrument. As the host is in debt, the system has automatically added 150 million to the previous debt. Please check and accept. Chapter 1322. 1-1 thump 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 thump. Lin Rei could clearly hear his own heartbeat beating violently. The corners of his mouth twitched and his eyes twitched. His face was filled with the pain of bankruptcy. 150 million, 150 million. System, are you sure you're not messing with me? You? 150 million? Are you crazy or am I crazy? Lin Rei came back to his senses. When he heard the price, Lin Rei felt unwell. He froze on the spot as though he had been struck by lightning. His mind was still in a state of confusion. Previously, he had thought that it would only be a few tens of millions. After all, the most expensive item he had ever bought was only 50 to 60 million. However, now that the price of the time pestle was revealed, Lin Rei only wanted to slap himself. Why was his mouth so annoying? Why did he have to say that he was going to buy it? Did he think that he was a tycoon or a local tycoon? Was he crazy? 150 million, plus the previous 300 million, in total, it would be 500 million. Thinking about how he would have to pay off the 500 million in the next year and a few months, Lin Rei had the urge to stab himself several times. It would be best if he could stab himself to death. In this way, after he died, his debts would be cleared, and he wouldn't be in pain because of the 500 million. Unfortunately, reality was reality. Now that the 500 million had appeared, Lin Rei's pressure multiplied. He knew that he would have to live for the sake of earning redemption points in the future. Host, take it easy. The system's voice rang in Lin Rei's ears. As the saying goes, pressure is motivation. With pressure, there will be motivation. With the pressure of 500 million, you will understand that you still have to work hard. Lin Rei was speechless. He only had one thought about the system, and that was to scram as far away as possible. It would be best if he never heard this voice again. 500 million? What did you think 500 million was? The first thing that came out of his mouth was to cheer him on. I'll throw it. Give me a try. Let's see if you can get rid of the urge to beat someone up. His mood was extremely bad. Looking at the trident in his storage ring, he felt as if he could see the blood in his heart. Bastard, I owe a huge debt for you. If I don't help you this time, I won't be surnamed Lin. When he thought about Zhu, he realized that all of this was because of Zhu. Therefore, he attributed all of his debts to Zhu, including the other 300 million. At this moment, Zhu still did not know that he had inexplicably provoked a miser like Lin Rei. It was precisely because he did not know that he had become a powerful cultivator who was about to work for Lin Rei. When he came back to his senses and thought about his 150 million, the way he looked at Zhu changed. It was as if Zhu was his 150 million. That burning passion. Are you all right? Lin Rei's burning gaze fell on Zhu's eyes. Suddenly, he frowned and a cold look appeared on his face. Damn, don't tell me this guy has that kind of fetish? Zhu imagined Lin Rei's gaze just now. It was no different from a ferocious beast in heat. As he thought about it, he involuntarily took a few steps back and distanced himself from Lin Rei. You bastard! Zhu's actions fell into Lin Rei's eyes. Looking at Zhu's reaction, Lin Rei cursed inwardly. He then raised his head and smiled. Zhu, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? Suddenly, the tone of his voice changed. The initial scorching heat disappeared and was replaced by a strange smile. This smile caused Zhu to feel even more terrified than before. However, when he thought of the two choices, his heart was inexplicably throbbing. He felt that if he did not choose this time, he might miss out on the greatest opportunity of his life. He raised his head and looked at Lin Rei. He nodded and replied, Let's talk about the bad news first. It's better to have the bad news as a foundation. Lin Li nodded, his smile growing even wider. The bad news is that you have to wait quietly and follow me, because only I have a way to leave this place, and only I can rescue you from this formation. Follow you? Zhu could not help but frown. For a powerful existence like Zhu, these words were the most taboo words. However, Zhu's temperament was strong and did not change. Instead, he quietly waited for Lin Rei to continue. However, the good news is that I've found a way to temporarily suppress this. Although it's only for a short period of time, it's better than being impatient. Furthermore, with some things suppressed, you won't be restricted from entering the underworld. Are you sure? Zhu became serious. I'm sure. Zhu fell into deep thought when he saw Lin Rei nod in confirmation. He could not understand why this little fellow was so confident. This little fellow was actually able to find a way to restore his freedom in a short period of time when he was unable to solve the problem. Although he did not believe it, if it was truly possible, then the request for the bad news could be considered. How about it? Do you want your temporary freedom? If you don't want it, then there's nothing I can do. Earlier, when I investigated the formation, I found out that this formation has already surpassed the limits of the Shring stage. Therefore, I want it. Without waiting for Lin Li to finish speaking, Zhu hurriedly spoke out her request. All right. Lin Rei nodded. He was not surprised by Zhu's reply. After all, for someone who had been imprisoned for an unknown period of time, freedom was more important than anything else. Since this was already a foregone conclusion, Lin Rei did not hesitate. He used his divine sense to communicate with the time pestle in his storage ring and pulled it out. This is, Zhu frowned when he saw the trident that had appeared out of thin air. From the aura emitted from the trident, he could sense that it was a low-grade Tao artifact that could not be seen. This fellow actually has such a good item on him. Why didn't he take it out earlier? The aura of the trident made Zhu's heart burn. A low-grade Tao artifact was one of the top treasures even in his possession. Now, it was an item that was extremely difficult to find in the sacred world. Lin Rei did not know what Zhu was thinking. At this moment, Lin Rei was confident that he could suppress the formation and release his hired thug. That's right, a hired thug. He was being treated as a hired thug by Lin Rei. Furthermore, he was an extremely powerful and intimidating hired thug. The appearance of the low-grade Tao artifact caused the formation that was suppressing Zhu to suddenly shake. It appeared to be unstable. Is it really useful? Zhu became excited when he sensed the resistance from the formation. For so many years, he had been hoping for the formation to loosen up so that he could make a breakthrough with his cultivation base. Nonsense, that's 150 million. How could it not be useful? Lin Rei could not help but think to himself. Although this was already a foregone conclusion, he could still feel the pain in his heart. The strength in his heart had not recovered with the passage of time. Chapter 13:23. Buzz Buzz. The frequency of the formation's vibrations gradually increased. In the end, it began to devour Zhu as if it had gone completely mad. It looked extremely crazy. In the process of receiving the backlash from the spirit formation, Zhu's middle-aged appearance gradually disappeared. What replaced it was that he slowly became older. His hair turned from black to white. In the end, he became like an old man with one foot in the grave. However, despite this, Linley did not underestimate Zhu at all. Even though he appeared to be old on the surface like a wooden old man, in reality, Zhu's body contained an enormous amount of energy. Linley knew that he was no match for this energy. Holy shit, little guy, can you do it? Zhu was dumbfounded when he sensed the changes in his body. He raised his head and looked at Lin Rei with a questioning gaze. He found it hard to believe that this formation had such a side to it. Previously, he only knew that this formation could devour cultivation. Now, did he really see the formation's full potential? Don't worry, it's fine. A smile flashed across his face as he gave Zhu a reassuring smile. Then, he began to activate the time pestle. He believed that the time pestle would definitely be able to suppress this formation. However, he was very curious about the existence of the sealer. What kind of strength did the sealer need to call him that? System, how much longer will it take to suppress this formation? Its strength has already exceeded my imagination. If this continues, I'm afraid that Zhu, don't worry. The system understood Lin Rei's thoughts and replied, although this formation is very powerful, but the power of the time pestle is far beyond your imagination. Although this time pestle is a low-grade Tao artifact, it is an imitation of a dragon artifact. It is extremely powerful. So don't worry, it will be done in a while. After saying that, the system disappeared and did not say anything else. It was as if it knew that Lin Rei would definitely ask some questions. However, that was indeed the case. After Lin Rei heard the system's words, he did indeed have a new discovery. He wanted to ask the system about it. However, since the system had said so, there was nothing more to say. Lin Rei understood that the system had its reasons for not saying anything. Lin Rei didn't want to say anything. He circulated his mind power to the maximum in order to see the time pestle's every move. He really wanted to see how the time pestle suppressed the formation. In a certain space in the netherworld, a white-haired yet spirited old man suddenly opened his eyes that were originally closed, and a wisp of a breathtaking gaze flashed into appearance. The corners of his mouth curled up and a smile flashed before disappearing. Interesting. Who exactly is it that is able to temporarily suppress this venerable's formation? This is, release that guy for a while? The corners of the old man's mouth twitched involuntarily when he thought of Zhu's figure. When he thought of Zhu, he could not help but want to move his body so that he could give Zhu a good beating. In his memories, Zhu was simply too much. Sigh, forget it. I've locked you up for so many years. I'll just let you out temporarily. The underworld has been quiet for too long. It's time for some liveliness. Imagining that, he waved his hand and a forbidden character floated before him. Never would I have thought that this venerable would one day use you again. Buzz buzz. As if sensing that he was looking at it, the time pestle used its vibration to recover. Seeing that, the old man smiled lightly. Then, he extended his hand and pressed on the forbidden character twice. Suddenly, a crack appeared on the forbidden character. I hope that you will not disappoint this venerable. As the ruler of a realm, I believe that you will not go crazy. Right after he finished saying those words, his eyes closed again. The forbidden character was very obedient. As if it had gained sentience, it returned to the sleeve of the old man the instant he closed his eyes. As for Lin Rei, who was far away at the entrance of the underworld, the vibration that was originally becoming more and more obvious suddenly disappeared. The time pestle that was originally operating suddenly retracted its radiance and returned to its original appearance. It returned to Lin Rei's side. I can go out now. Zhu, who was sitting far away, was startled. Then, a smile appeared on her wrinkled little face. However, that smile became frightening because of the wrinkles on her face. Zhu smiled. On the other hand, Lin Rei was dumbfounded. At this moment, he was completely dumbfounded. The time pestle had not been truly activated to suppress it. Why was the formation suddenly suppressed and Zhu able to regain her temporary freedom? All of this happened too suddenly. Lin Rei was unable to react at all. As for the system, it was even more puzzled. It knew very well that the true might of the time pestle had not been activated yet. Logically speaking, this should not have happened. Wahahaha. Holy shit. I have finally regained my freedom. Zhu faced the sky and roared. Then, with a shake of her body, she returned to her original form. Suddenly, her enormous body appeared before Lin Rei. Then, she took a step back and in an instant, she disappeared before Lin Rei's eyes. Lin Rei did not care about Zhu's departure. At this moment, he only wanted to know who it was. He had clearly spent 150 million, but now all of that money was wasted. For no reason at all, he now owed another 150 million. This, a sucker. What people called a sucker was none other than Lin Rei. Host, you must not think too much about it. If you want to eat, isn't it better for Zhu to come out? Although the time pestle was not activated, the result is the same. Isn't that right? The system's voice became softer and softer until it finally disappeared completely. It could feel that Lin Rei was burning with anger. It did not want to become Lin Rei's punching bag at this moment. Damn it. You owe me 150 million for no reason. Don't let me find out who is behind this. If I find out, I will definitely make you understand why flowers are so popular. As he spoke, he regained his senses. Looking at the time pestle, Lin Rei's heart ached. Just stay in the storage ring obediently from now on. You are very valuable. I have to treat you like an ancestor in the future. As he spoke, he waved his hand and the time pestle disappeared. He returned to the place where he was supposed to return to. After doing all this, he calmed his agitated heart and waved his hand to release the flaming tiger. Just now, he felt that the flaming tiger had already recovered from its cultivation. Damn, brotherly, where is this? Other than the system, looking at the vast place in front of them, they felt uneasy. And here, the flaming tiger felt extremely cold. Moreover, the surroundings were filled with a violent energy. Zhu? Why is Zhu's energy wandering in the space? It had felt Zhu's energy before. Therefore, when it felt this violent energy, it immediately thought of Zhu. Not far away, Lin Rei heard the flaming tiger's question. He smiled bitterly and replied, Zhu can come out for a short period of time. When he comes back, we can go to the underworld. Remember, when you enter the underworld, you must not cause trouble. When you enter the underworld, I will let you enter the Saint realm. After all, there is a risk in this position in the underworld. If you can improve yourself, do your best to improve. Chapter 13:24. After making their decision, the two of them sat down and waited for Zhu's return. After all, he had been sealed for so many years, it was understandable for him to be so crazy. Time slowly passed. After 3 days and 3 nights, Zhu finally returned. Not only did he return, but he also brought many heavenly treasures with him. Of course, in Lin Rei's opinion, they were useless. After all, there were no high-grade heavenly treasures in the empty underworld region. However, there should be some in the underworld. Alright, it's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, the Emperor would have been sealed for who knows how many years. Perhaps when the Emperor reaches the end of his lifespan, I'm afraid that. He shrugged his shoulders and did not continue speaking. The atmosphere suddenly became oppressive. For a moment, Lin Rei quickly opened his mouth to break the oppressive atmosphere. Look at you. You've been out for 3 days and 3 nights. We've been waiting here for such a long time. Back then you were too fast. You haven't told me how to enter the underworld. These words hit the nail on the head. Previously, he had searched for it, but unfortunately, he could not find it at all. He did not even sense the fluctuation of the array, which made him very disappointed. Upon hearing this, Zhu smiled as if he had already guessed it. The underworld is very dangerous. Do you really want to go in? Yes, that's right. They nodded without hesitation. Of course. I've heard so much from you. There are many experts in there. Of course, we have to go in and experience it. Otherwise, this trip to the empty underworld region would have been in vain. Xiao Hu said, looking very excited. Alright. Zhu nodded with a smile. Since they wanted to go in, he would not stop them. He took a step forward, passing by Lin Rei and Xiao Hu, and walked towards the stone wall in the distance. Looking at Zhu's figure, Lin Rei and Xiao Hu hesitated for a moment before following him. They had already checked the stone wall in front of them. There was nothing special about it. Open. When they arrived in front of the stone wall, they could sense Lin Rei and Xiao Hu's aura behind them. Their smile grew wider. They raised their hand and placed it on the stone wall. With a low shout, the stone wall suddenly disappeared and was replaced by an energy vortex. F***CK. When this scene appeared, Lin Rei could not help but curse out loud. He could not understand why he had failed to detect it, but Zhu had. This is a passageway to another world. If you were to probe it like you did with a formation, you would not be able to find it at all. No matter how powerful your spiritual power is, it would not be of any use. Because it is completely useless. I believe you have already experienced it. With these words, he took a step back and stepped out of the way of the energy vortex. Then, he quietly looked at Lin Rei and Yetian. You aren't going in with us? Lin Rei asked doubtfully as he looked at the candle behind them. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the scarlet flame tiger turned to look at Zhu with the same puzzled look. The two people's puzzled gazes caused Zhu's body to tremble. I say, if you want to go in, then go in. Why do you have to drag me in? I'm telling you, I'm not going. This is your problem, so don't even think about dragging me into it. Now I can be considered to be temporarily free. Naturally, I will not return to that old man's place. With these words, he did not wait for Lin Rei and Yetian's reaction. He turned around and walked away. Looking at the departing Zhu, Lin Rei smiled bitterly and shook his head. Forget it. Originally, I wanted to go in and help you find a way to completely undo the formation. Now, it seems like, TSK, I was thinking too much. That's right. Of all the things we could do inside, why do we have to worry about this? Understanding Lin Rei's thoughts, the Scarlet Flame Tiger tacitly agreed. They seemed to be talking to each other, but in reality, they were all talking to Zhu. Little Tiger, let's go. We just need to walk around the underworld. As for the heavenly treasures, we can use our things to exchange for them. As for the method to undo the formation, forget it. I'm too lazy to look for it. Let's go. With these words, Zhu stepped into the energy vortex. Swish. Suddenly, an aura appeared in an instant. It was accompanied by Zhu's voice. How can that be? No matter what, the Emperor has been here for so many years. He can be considered a local. Since the two of you have come here, the Emperor should do his part as a host. With these words, Zhu grabbed Lin Rei with one hand and the Scarlet Flame Tiger's thigh with the other. Suddenly, the two of them felt light and the three of them disappeared into the energy vortex. 1. The moment the three of them disappeared, the energy vortex disappeared and the stone wall returned to its previous appearance. It was as if the vortex had never appeared. It was as if what had appeared before was just an illusion. The only difference was that the ferocious beast that was originally guarding this place no longer existed. The underworld was destined to become turbulent because of the arrival of Lin Rei and the other two. Ouyang Zhen, who was far away in heavenly King Hong, looked at the scene of war below. Although he wanted to help the unrelated people, he ignored them when he thought of Lin Rei's orders. As for the karma, he no longer cared about it. As long as he entered the Saint Realm, the karma would no longer exist. Outside the capital, Li Jiping returned with the army. Looking at the ruined city, he felt helpless. When he received Aunt Meng's letter, he rushed back without stopping. He didn't expect that he would still be too late. As for the destruction of the city, it was completely caused by Fan Jun. Previously, he had killed all the civil and military officials except for the people on Li Jiping's side. Afterwards, in order to clear out the obstacles, Fan Jun fought his way to the imperial palace. He wanted to kill Hong Ji, but who would have thought that a few black-clothed people would appear? They were extremely powerful. According to Fan Jun's estimations, they were much stronger than Li Jiping. Behind those black-clothed people were a dozen or so black-clothed people. This made Fan Jun even more serious. With such strength, it would be easy for them to overthrow the Hongtian imperial dynasty. Why didn't they do it? In the end, they even captured Hong Ji. This made Fan Jun feel very uncomfortable. However, Fan Jun heaved a sigh of relief. However, he didn't relax for long. The army on Hong Ji's side received the news from somewhere and started to attack the capital. Fan Jun, who only had 30,000 soldiers, had no choice but to appear. 3 days and 3 nights. After fighting for 3 days and 3 nights, it could be said that Fan Jun was like a man holding back 10,000 men. He charged into the enemy camp and was successful in every endeavor. In the end, more than half of the 30,000 soldiers were killed. Finally, the enemy retreated temporarily. Fan Jun, perhaps due to exhaustion, directly lay down on the mountain of corpses and fell into a deep sleep. After that, Hong Ji's army didn't invade for a short time. Fan Jun heaved a sigh of relief. If they came again, although he could still resist, the remaining few thousand people wouldn't be as lucky as him. Thinking of the 23,600 people who died because of the war, Fan Jun's heart ached. The guilt towards the 23,600 soldiers made Fan Jun a little breathless. However, at least Li Jiping was finally back. He could finally put down the burden on his shoulders. Chapter 1325. Things were progressing smoothly in Heavenly King Hongtian City. Everything was under Ouyang Zhen's control. On the other side, 3 figures appeared at the teleportation entrance of Huanghui City in Lu Province of the Underworld. They attracted the attention of the guards. There weren't many people from the Underworld who had entered Empty Underworld. Those who had entered Empty Underworld before had all returned. Now that the teleportation formation had activated again, how could they not be nervous? After all, this had never happened before. Seeing the teleportation formation open, the guard commander, Lu Jiang, waved his hand at the guard beside him and said, "Go and report to the city lord that the teleportation formation has been activated. Unknown people have entered the underworld." The guard hesitated. Today, the city lord had told them not to disturb the teleportation formation unless there was something important. If they went now, they might what? "You don't want to listen to me?" Seeing the guard's hesitation, Lu Jiang glared at him fiercely. The guard stuttered and looked at the commander. He didn't dare to say anything. The more he spoke, the more mistakes he would make. Silence was the best way to behave now. Lu Jiang knew the temperament of his subordinates very well. Seeing the guard remain silent, Lu Jiang waved his hand and asked him to leave. "Forget it. Let's wait and see. I really don't know how your wife fell in love with you when you're so cautious." As soon as he said that, the crowd burst into laughter. Everyone here knew each other. Naturally, they had seen the other party's wife before. Usually, they didn't have money to joke around. The guard couldn't be bothered with the laughter of his companions. He pushed them to the side and stopped talking. This calamity was over. This time, everyone's attention was focused on the teleportation formation. They wanted to see who had come out of the teleportation formation. Within the formation, Linley had a pretty good idea of what was going on outside. He had heard every single word of what the guards outside had said. He was very curious about the rules of the underworld. Even places like the Divinity World and the Holy World didn't have absolute certainty. But here, the guard commander was so confident. It was evident how powerful the underworld was. Do you see that? This is the Netherworld, an old-fashioned, unkind, and boring place. All those years ago, I wanted to be like you, a newborn calf that wasn't afraid of tigers. Unfortunately, I was hunted down not long after. I wonder if the Netherworld realm has stopped trying to kill me after so many years. Since it hasn't, that's interesting. Thinking about it, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. However, Lin Ray and the Scarlet Flame Tiger's faces darkened. They had just arrived here, so they didn't want to be hunted down so quickly. They didn't want to leave the underworld because of being hunted down by experts. There were new things everywhere. Although they were still in the middle of the teleportation, Lin Ray could feel that the dark space chi outside was very dense. It was at least 7 or 8 times stronger than in the dark space domain. Zhu's despicable demeanor made Lin Ray and Lin Fan feel helpless. Their bodies involuntarily retreated a few steps, and the distance between them increased a little. It was as if they were expressing that they didn't know each other. Zhu had no idea about that. At that moment, his heart had already flown beyond the 9 heavens. If it wasn't for the fact that his strength was insufficient, he would have already gone to find the sealers for revenge. It would appear that we must keep an eye on this guy later. Otherwise, who knows what sort of trouble he might cause. Lin Ray and the Scarlet Flame Tiger exchanged glances and nodded in agreement. The teleportation formation closed and the blue pillar of light disappeared. Lin Ray and the 2 others appeared before the guards outside. Amen? Humans? No, monstrous beast? Seeing Lin Ray and the 2 others, the guard commander sensed the auras emitted from their bodies. Thus, he was able to determine their identities through the auras emitted by Lin Ray and the 2 others. "You all, why have you come to the underworld?" the guard commander asked as he looked at Lin Ray and the 3 others. Being in the underworld, one's body would emit the unique aura of the underworld. He was only able to sense that aura from Zhu and the three people before him. Furthermore, that aura was extremely rare. It was so rare that it appeared as if it was dispensable. It was as if it would dissipate with a gust of wind. However, that was not the thing that shocked the guard commander the most. What shocked Lu Jiang the most was that, if they were not people from the underworld, where did their cultivations come from? The outside world? How could that be? If one could cultivate in the outside world, they wouldn't be separated from the underworld realm. His thoughts were not confirmed. He only hoped that the three people before him would cooperate with him. Lu Jiang had sensed a dangerous aura when they were on the mountain. That was a unique ability of a soldier. It was an ability that only those who had experienced countless battles on the battlefield would possess. Lin Rei took a step forward and cupped his hands with a smile. Sir, it's like this. The three of us have just arrived here. We've heard about the existence of the underworld. Thus, we've searched for many years and finally arrived. Sir, we're the same. Furthermore, we'll leave after buying some heavenly treasures and elixirs. We definitely won't cause any trouble for the underworld. With that, Lin Rei took out a saint elixir from his storage ring. Then, the two of them stuffed it into Lu Jiang's hand. After doing all that, he reached out and patted Lu Jiang's hand gently. Then, he returned to his original spot and quietly waited for the other party's result. Lin Rei did not hide his actions from the crowd. In his opinion, there was no need for that. Furthermore, he believed that for someone of his age to be in such a position, his subordinates would not be able to cause any trouble. Although he did not want to admit it, he had the same thoughts as Lin Rei. Looking at the elixir in his hand, a smile suddenly appeared on Lu Jiang's cold face. As the saying goes, whoever gives milk is your mother. Here, Lin Rei had given him a saint elixir. Furthermore, Ah Huan had only learned a little about elixirs. Fellow Taoist, since you've come here because of its reputation, you must take a good look around in the future. There are a lot of fun places here. I believe that fellow Taoist will definitely not regret your decision. After saying those words, Lu Jiang placed the elixir in his hand into his pocket. Then, he moved aside and opened up a path for Lin Rei and the others. Seeing this, a smile appeared on Lu Jiang's face as he looked at the path before him. He felt extremely happy. There were problems that could be solved with money could not be called problems. However, if the problem could not be solved with money, then it would be fine to just add a bit more money. As the saying goes, if you give money, then you'll feel good. If you keep giving money, then you'll feel good. Seeing that the crowd had opened up a path for him, Lin Rei did not bother with superfluous words and began to leave with Zhu and the others. On the way, he even smiled and nodded at the guards on both sides. Just like this, Lin Rei and the others safely left the crowd. They left the teleportation formation and disappeared into the vast sea of people. Go and report to the city lord that several powerful cultivators have arrived in the city. Chapter 1326. Lin Rei and the other two did not know that the moment they spoke, the smile on Lu Jiang's face instantly disappeared and was replaced by worry. The reason why he was like that before was because he was unable to sense the cultivation of Lin Rei and the other two. The only thing he could sense was the vigorous energy within their bodies. This energy made him feel suffocated. In order to ensure the safety of himself and his subordinates, he had no choice but to do so. His decision was usually very wise. Because of this, he and his brothers were able to survive in this chaotic world. On the street, Lin Rei and the other two arrived at the street inside the city. This place was no different from the sacred world and the divine world. Of course, the only difference was the spiritual energy in the air and the cultivation methods of the cultivators here. Seeing the endless stream of people coming and going, Lin Rei and the Scarlet Flame Tiger were speechless. In their memories, the world of cultivation was either filled with mutual deception or killing. This was the first time they had seen such a scene. This is the netherworld. This place is not like the sacred world that you are familiar with. Here, everyone abides by the rules. Killing is not allowed within the city. Of course, if there is a deep hatred or a blood feud, you can also settle it in the life and death arena. Apart from that, you can also leave the city. Outside the city, you can fight however you want. This is the default mode of the entire netherworld. Hearing Zhu's words, the two of them turned their heads and looked at Zhu with strange gazes. It seemed like what he said was true. Zhu had done everything before. Otherwise, who would think of offending the ruler of a realm for no reason? Seeing the strange gazes of the two of them, Zhu coughed dryly. He did not conceal his embarrassment. I say, can the two of you not look at me like that? Who hasn't been young and frivolous? Back then, I was not sensible. But now, as he said that, he did not forget to straighten his body. It was as if he was saying that his age did not allow him to fool around. Sigh. The two of them knew Zhu's character very well. Lin Ray and the Scarlet Flame Tiger ignored him and walked away. The prosperity of this place caused their hearts to palpitate. In the reception hall of the City Lord's mansion, City Lord Lu Ding looked at the three people sitting on both sides of the hall. The smile on his face did not fade for a long time. Brother Carefree, I already know about your secluded valley. The City Lord's mansion will definitely participate in the opening of the Dragon's Spring Mystery Realm this time. Yes, yes. Hearing Lu Ding's words, the middle-aged cultivator cupped his hands. Brother Wang Yu, your valley's Dragon Spring Secret Realm is famous in the Lu province. If anyone is able to cultivate in the Dragon Spring Mystic Light Water within the Dragon Spring Secret Realm, their cultivation will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. That's right. Can we wait? It's a once-in-100 years opportunity. Even if something big happens, it's impossible for the disciples to survive the opening of the secret realm. As soon as this was said, everyone was waiting for the person called Daylily. Similarly, Daylily's gaze swept across the crowd, and a smile flashed across her face. She felt extremely satisfied with her vanity. Of course, at the same time, he also knew that the people sitting in front of him were very powerful, so he stood up, cupped his hands, and thanked them. You're too kind. I'm just indebted to the ancestors. As the saying goes, the ancestors plant a tree for the descendants to enjoy the shade. It's just like this now. Looking at Daylily, the corners of everyone's eyes twitched. They did not expect this guy to have such a rich side to him. You're too kind. Even if it's like what you said, it's a pity that originally, he was still a little humble, but now, his previous nature had appeared, and it had become even worse. All right. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's talk about something else. For example, people, report. Just as the few of them were having a heated discussion, a voice that did not fit the scene sounded. The voice was very urgent, as if someone was calling for a relative. Hearing that he was interrupted, Lu Ding raised his eyebrows and looked outside the door. A soldier in military uniform was kneeling on one knee, cupping his hands and greeting him. A soldier guarding the teleportation formation? Looking at the soldier's armor, he frowned. The soldiers at the teleportation formation did not need to come if there was nothing important. Shaking his head, he threw such trivial matters to the back of his mind. Then, he waved his hand and said, "Stand up and reply." "Yes, City Lord Xie?" The soldier stood up and walked to the center of the investigation. He was not far away from Lu Ding, and he knelt down on one knee again. He then told Lu Ding everything that had happened before in full detail. Lu Ding was shocked when he received the report from the guard. He knew Lu Jiang's strength. He really did not believe that Lu Jiang would say that the spiritual energy in his body had reached 10. City Lord, it's like this. Our commander also asked me to pass a message. As he spoke, he fell into deep thought, as if he was recalling the message that Lu Jiang asked him to pass on. Our commander said that the other party's strength is very strong. Even he is not a match for them. It's like two stones. The other party is also 100-kilogram stone, and he is just the most inconspicuous one in the corner. This time, Lu Ding's interest was piqued. He would not allow anyone to cause trouble in his Huanghui city. Moreover, he also wanted to talk about what kind of cultivators could come to the underworld. Brother Wang Yu, I wonder if you can accompany me to meet them? He knew that it was impossible for the people in front of him to not want to meet such a person. Sure enough, when they heard this, they stood up and cupped their hand. Haha, since the city lord has issued an invitation, we naturally can't disobey. As they spoke, they looked at each other and smiled. They knew that if possible, they hoped to control Lin Rei in their sect. Think about it, a person who had never been to the underworld could find and pass the test of the guardian beast. How much willpower did he have to be able to do that? However, if they knew that the guardian beast in their hearts was beside Lin Rei, who knew what kind of attitude they would have in the end? Let's go. They left as they said, without any signs of regret. As for that person, he still followed them. As for the actions of Lu Ding and the others, Lin Rei still did not know. At this moment, he was bargaining with the owner of a shop that specialized in selling elixir materials. For him, money could be spent, but it had to be spent where it was needed. Naturally, he would not buy things that were not necessary. At this moment, Lin Rei had a ginseng in his hand that was worth hundreds of thousands. He was determined to get this ginseng. After all, although this thing could not be used to refine any high-level elixir, it could increase blood vessels. Boss, how about 500,000 low-grade nether jade? No, 1 million nether jade. I can't lower the price any further. If I lower it any further, I will go all out. Chapter 1327. 1 million. This, Lin Rei was in a dilemma. 1 million low-grade netherworld jades? He didn't even have 500,000, let alone 1 million. He only had Holy Spirit crystals, which were low-grade, mid-grade, high-grade, and top-grade. He could get whatever he wanted. 500,000 or 1 million would be a piece of cake. But, netherworld jades, he was new here. Where would he get any netherworld jades? The reason why he said that was because he wanted to negotiate a good price so that he could barter later. However, it was obvious that the boss wasn't willing to sell it for 500,000, which made it difficult for Lin Rei to deal with. Boss, can you make it cheaper? Look, you've dug out this ginseng for so long. Although you've preserved it well, it still lost some of its spiritual qi. As he spoke, he took out a bottle of water observation pills and placed it on the table. He said, Boss, look. This is a bottle of water observation pills. It's used to heal injuries. It's useful even for serious injuries. You should know that this healing pill can be said to be a cultivator's second life. Lin Rei was very confident when it came to medicinal pills. After all, no matter where he went, everyone needed medicinal pills. Medicinal pills that could save lives were the most important. Sure enough, after hearing this, the boss's gaze fell on the bottle of medicinal pills. A strange look flashed across his face. He didn't just sell spiritual herbs here. He also sold all kinds of medicinal pills, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures. With a strange look in his eyes, he picked up the medicinal pill bottle on the table with a slightly hesitant expression and opened the bottle cap. Suddenly, a refreshing medicinal fragrance emerged from the medicinal pill bottle and spread throughout the entire shop. Phew! Smelling the fragrance made one's body feel light and comfortable. The boss had an answer to Lin Rei's previous suggestion. He closed the bottle cap and looked at Lin Rei with a smile. He said, Young friend, this medicinal pill is good stuff. As he spoke, the boss put away the medicinal pills without leaving a trace. He continued, This bottle contains 10 medicinal pills. This way, I won't let you suffer a loss. I'll give you 5 more water observation pills, and this ginseng will be yours. What do you think? What? Lin Rei wasn't willing. He didn't even need to think about it. The water observation pill was the best pill he had. It was a second-grade Saint class pill. There was nothing better than this. Now, he needed 15 pills to exchange for a single ginseng. This was undoubtedly a losing deal. One had to know that there were many elixirs needed to refine the water viewing pill. Si Zhong had several elixirs that were more valuable than the ginseng in front of him. The only difference was that no one was willing to plant a ginseng for hundreds of thousands of years. Otherwise, he wouldn't have offered 10 water-observing pills. He stretched out his hand and handed it to the boss. Give me the water-viewing pill. This sovereign doesn't want this ginseng. No. Lin Rei. He had seen murders and robberies, but it was Lin Rei's first time seeing someone rob like the boss. For a moment, Lin Rei was amused. Motherf *Ker, there were weirdos every year, but there were especially many this year. Especially after coming here. He originally thought that this place was very normal and would not be like the Saints' world. However, now, his thoughts changed. The weak and the weak in the world were everywhere. This place was no exception. At this moment, Lin Rei's attitude was no longer as good as before. He was startled and a cold aura came out. I'll give you 2 choices. First, exchange for the pills. Second, I'll give you the pills and this sovereign will take the ginseng. From now on, we don't owe each other anything. Indeed, as far as Linley was concerned, this was the best possible outcome. Unfortunately, some people just loved to be insatiably greedy. They would never feel that it was enough, as if they wanted more. Unfortunately, these kinds of people didn't even consider whether or not they had the ability to do so. The boss shook his head and took a step back. He said coldly, "The 3 of you, my Junbao Hall still has some reputation in Huanghui City. If I let you go today, wouldn't this old man lose face? Give me 5 more pills and this ginseng will be yours. Otherwise..." After saying that, he signaled to the servant next to him. "Pada." The servant understood tacitly and came to the front of the door. He stretched out his hand and closed the door. Looking at this posture, it seemed like he was going to close the door and beat the dog. And no, it was like catching a turtle in a jar. That's not right either. This was inviting you to enter the jar. That's right, inviting you to enter the jar. After witnessing the boss's shamelessness, Lin Rei also gave up on him. Since the other party had done this, he did not have the slightest bit of worry. Although he learned from Zhu's example that he could not be too presumptuous, at least not in the city. However, Lin Rei really could not endure it anymore. Those pills were things that he risked his life to fight for and snatch from other people. Now, he had to give them to this group of bastards in front of him. He was not in a good mood. Since he had already made his move, Lin Rei naturally did not need to be long-winded with the people in front of him. He looked at the people in front of him. In an instant, killing intent burst out. Lin Rei's body was shrouded in killing intent. Originally, we could have a good discussion. Since you're so stubborn, then, you can go to hell. Right after those words left his mouth, Lin Rei's figure instantly disappeared from where he stood. His speed was so fast that he was not suppressed by this unfamiliar place. His figure disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already in front of the boss. He extended his hand to grab the boss's neck and lifted him up. You're crazy. If you make a move in the city, you'll be hunted down by all the other cities. You. The boss was dumbfounded. Especially when he heard Lin Rei's ice-cold voice that sounded like the voice of the Grim Reaper. He was terrified. He no longer had the aggressive aura that he had before. However, Lin Rei did not care about the boss's threat at all. His principle was that as long as he was not in a good mood, he would not allow others to live happily. The boss was clearly such a person. As for him, it just so happened that Lin Rei was not in a good mood. Therefore, the hand that was grabbing the boss's neck slightly tightened. Cracking sounds could be heard. The boss's face turned red like a pig's liver. Don't kill me. Feeling the pain of death, the boss finally understood that the person in front of him was a madman. He reached out his hand to grab the ginseng on the table and placed it in front of Lin Rei. He opened his mouth to beg for mercy. Senior, Master, this ginseng is for you. Please don't kill me. I have elders and children to take care of. I cough. The boss only felt that his throat was getting more and more painful. His voice was getting softer and softer. His body gradually lost its strength. The hands that were originally raised slowly drooped down to the sides under Lin Rei's help. The ginseng in his hand directly fell to the ground. Seeing that the boss's breathing was getting more and more difficult, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. In this world, there will always be people like you. Originally, you could have repaid the Tao very well. Unfortunately, you don't know how to cherish it. In the end, you will only bring death to yourself. After saying that, he did not waste any more time. With a cracking sound, the boss's head tilted to the side. He died and returned to his soul sea. Chapter 1328. You actually dared to kill our shopkeeper. Don't you know that killing someone in public within the city is already against the laws of the Tao Alliance? Seeing their master die just like that, the remaining people were dumbfounded. After so many years, they had followed their boss and killed people. However, when death truly came, they finally understood that the rules of the Tao Alliance still existed. Unfortunately, it was already too late. Laws? Tao Alliance? Lin Rei smiled. He did not care about these things. Even if the Alliance Master of the Tao Alliance was here, so what? If Lin Rei wanted to kill someone, even if they were at the ends of the earth or in hell, they would not be able to escape death. Furthermore, the person was right in front of him. Seeing Lin Rei acting so unscrupulously, the remaining people did not say anything. They understood that if they could leave today, they might have a chance to avenge their master. However, would Lin Rei give them a chance? The answer was, of course not. Knowing what the crowd was thinking, Lin Rei ignored them. Kill. Leave no one alive. Swish. The moment Lin Rei finished speaking, the scarlet flaming tiger, who had been impatient for a long time, rushed out and arrived before the shop assistants. Poochie. There were no screams or cries of pain. There was only the sound of people falling to the ground. In an instant, the shop assistants were all dead. No one was left alive. Bang! Lin Rei threw the corpse in his hand to the ground. He reached out to pick up the ginseng and placed it in his storage ring. His gaze landed on the corpses on the ground and he sneered. Why bother? If it weren't for your greed, perhaps none of the people here would have died and hugged you. As he spoke, he slowly walked to the counter. With a thought, all the cabinets on the counter opened. Suddenly, a pure nether aura spread out and filled the entire room. Not bad. I didn't expect such a terrifying existence to exist in such a small shop. According to the information, these spiritual herbs could be used to concoct at least 100 cauldrons of medicinal pills. Furthermore, those 100 cauldrons of medicinal pills were all grade 4 or 5 saint grade. While Lin Rei was making his move, the scarlet flaming tiger arrived before the shopkeeper's corpse. It reached out its hand and took the medicinal pills from the shopkeeper's clothes. This guy. The flaming tiger's actions naturally did not affect Lin Rei's divine sense. In contrast, Lin Rei did not say anything. It was just a medicinal pill. If it had been given to someone else, perhaps the result would have been different. However, Lin Rei was not someone else. The deity moved and kept all the spirit herbs into the system. His spiritual will followed the spirit herbs and the system entered the system. System, come out and see how much these spirit herbs cost. At this moment, Lin Ray did not remember to refine the pill. He was very clear about his current strength. It was impossible to refine a grade 4 or 5 pill without 100 years of time. As for these spiritual herbs, there would be more in the future. What he was most worried about now was the matter of the exchange points. He had to think of a way to make up for the huge amount of 500 million. Otherwise, the only thing that would disappear in the end would be his life. Ding. Begin probing. The system appeared and began to investigate. He could feel that with so many good things, they should be worth a lot. As he thought about it, his heart was filled with joy. Thinking that he would be able to return the money soon, he felt a little more relaxed. In the blink of an eye, 5 minutes had passed. Lin Ray, who had been waiting quietly, finally heard the system's voice. Ding. Probing complete. The spirit herbs provided by the host, converted to exchange points, are worth about 56,360,000. Ding. Host, do you want to collect them and convert them to exchange points to repay the debt? 56,360,000 exchange points. So many things, but only so little. Hearing the system's participation, Lin Ray felt despair and disappointment. After all, this was much less than what he had expected. Ding. Confirm again. Do you want to collect them? Looking at the spirit herbs, Lin Ray made up his mind and nodded. Collect them. These will be counted as exchange points and I will repay the debt. As soon as these words came out, Lin Ray made a great decision. These things were all good things. If he could bring them back to the sect, it would be able to help many disciples improve their cultivation. Ding. Conversion complete. As repayment, the host still owes the system 51,600,000 exchange points. Please continue to work hard. Ding. Initial estimation. Hearing the system's words, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. However, while he was still puzzled, the system's voice rang out again. Life. Initial estimation. If the host wants to repay the system, he will have to rob the entire Huanghui city. Oh, a hint. Only by robbing 5 cities in this Huanghui city will you be able to repay the debt. As soon as these words came out, Lin Ray was struck by a bolt from the blue. He stood there in a daze. 5 cities like Huanghui cities, and all of them had been robbed. What kind of concept was this? Did they want him to rob them? This was the netherworld, after all. Even an expert like Zhu had to tread carefully here. He was only at the Dao fruit realm. That's not right. Suddenly, Lin Ray came to his senses. Just one store was enough to exchange for more than 50 million exchange points. Why would he need 5 cities? The system, which seemed to understand Lin Ray's thoughts, suddenly opened its mouth and explained, "System, please don't be confused. Because the host has already completed the first transaction, the system that owns this item will deduct half of the exchange point. Therefore, F***ck, are you kidding me? What was the meaning of a trap? Don't call yourself a pig teammate. This was a living example." He shook his head helplessly. He had no other way to deal with the system. Since he had already fallen into the trap, he had to repay the system as soon as possible. Otherwise, who knew what kind of trouble the system would cause in the future? All right. I've repaid the money. As soon as these words were spoken, the system disappeared. Lin Ray was not surprised and did not pay too much attention to it. In the outside world, the matter of the store had been settled. As for this place, there was naturally no need to stay. He turned around and walked out of the door. Lin Ray had already taken one step out of the door. The illusory spirit blood fire in his hand instantly destroyed the entire store. The passers-by at the door did not leave. They had never seen a dead person in Huanghui City before. Moreover, they had made such an unscrupulous public appearance. "Brother Lei, how are things now? I'm afraid that we will soon be on the Dao Alliance's wanted list." "That's right." Zhu was puzzled when he saw Lin Ray's relaxed and unworried expression. He opened his mouth and asked, Lin Rei, the Emperor is very curious. Why are you so calm? Are you not afraid that the Tao Alliance will make a move? Emperor, let me say this first. Helping you is not within the scope of the Emperor's profession. Furthermore, this matter today was caused by you alone. It has nothing to do with the Emperor. Therefore, if the Tao Alliance really does make a move, the two of you should pray for yourselves. Chapter 1329. Zhu had completely disassociated himself from this matter, as if he had not been present at all. Lin Rei shrugged his shoulders indifferently as he stared at Zhu. He had long expected Zhu to react in this manner. Hence, Lin Rei had never thought that Zhu would be able to help. He ignored Zhu and turned towards the scarlet flaming tiger and said, Xiao Hu, believe in your brother Lei. In the past, we've been able to survive so many life and death situations. What's more, this little bit of trouble is nothing. TSK, this little bit of trouble. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue when you talk big? He glanced sideways at Lin Rei and Zhu Zhu and curled his lips as if he was not optimistic about their chances. Brother Lei, let's go. We'll find a restaurant and eat and drink while we wait for someone. I believe that it won't be long before someone will come knocking on our door. When that time comes, we'll have a better understanding of the underworld. After saying his piece, Lin Rei walked into the distance, leaving Zhu and Zhu Zhu with a deep and distant view of his back. Zhu felt somewhat puzzled as he stared at Lin Rei's departing figure. He simply could not understand how someone at Lin Rei's level of cultivation could act so pretentiously without any fear. Let's go. Zhu reminded Zhu Zhu before he chased after Lin Rei. The news of the shop burning down spread like the autumn wind throughout Huanghui City. There were all sorts of versions of the story. Some said that an enemy had come to seek revenge. Some said that the shop owner had failed to pay up and had ended up with his entire family being destroyed. Some said that the shop owner had forcefully kidnapped a woman and had provoked an existence that he could not afford to offend. There were all sorts of versions of the story. However, they did not notice that after this incident had occurred, no guards from the city had come to deal with it. Instead, they had allowed the fire to continue to burn. As for the rule that no one was allowed to kill in the city, everyone seemed to have forgotten about it as they quietly watched the raging fire burn wantonly. As the saying goes, one family rejoiced while another grieved. The shops that had been robbed of their business were now very happy to see their competitors die an unnatural death. Some had even booked a banquet in a restaurant to celebrate the arrival of their good day. At the center of the city, within the Yuan Tower, under the guidance of the waiter, Linley, Little Tiger, and Zhu arrived at a table and sat down. What would the three of you like to eat? In our Yuan restaurant, there are only things that you can't think of. There's nothing that Yuan restaurant can't make. As he spoke, he took out the menu from his body. A thick book as thick as a Chinese dictionary appeared in front of Lin Rei. Dong. The moment the menu was placed on the table, Lin Rei felt that the table couldn't bear it anymore. He even started to feel sad for the table. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Looking at the menu in front of him, the corner of Xiao Hu's mouth twitched and he felt dizzy. It was just a meal, was there a need to make it so grand? Dear guest, you must be joking. You're the most distinguished guest of our Yuan pavilion. Tell me, why do I feel that I'm not obedient to you? As he spoke, he took a step forward and opened the Chinese dictionary-like thing on the table. Suddenly, the contents of the book appeared in front of Lin Rei. Origin: nourishing food, soup made from various spiritual herbs, meat from various spiritual beasts. It's tasty and will obviously increase the spiritual energy in your body. Oh, not bad. Looking at the introduction on the menu, Lin Rei's interest was piqued. He had eaten many things before, but this was the first time he had seen something like this. Brother Lei, I'm hungry, I want to eat. At the side, Xiaohu was already impatient and drooling. As for Zhu, she was even more so. After all, she had been imprisoned for so many years. Now that she was finally out, it was inevitable that she would want to eat. Just like that, Lin Rei didn't wait for the waiter to continue and close the menu. "Dear guest, is it because I didn't take good care of you or?" Lin Rei's action attracted the waiter's attention. He thought that he wasn't good enough, but in fact, that wasn't the case. Looking at the waiter's nervous expression, Lin Rei smiled and waved his hand indifferently. "You're thinking too much. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to ask you to give me a copy of the entire menu. Of course, this is just the beginning. If we're happy, we'll continue." "Oh right. Eating without drinking would reduce the fragrance by half." He raised his head and looked at the drinks on the counter and continued, "Give me the best drinks you have." "Oh right." He pointed at the table beside him. "If you buy it, give me a copy of the exact same one. Remember, the exact same one." As soon as these words came out, the entire hall fell silent. Only now did Linley realize that everyone's gazes were focused on him. Looking at the shocked and incredulous eyes of the crowd, Lin Rei didn't bother to pay attention to them. He believed that what he ordered was far from enough. After all, he was sitting with two demonic beasts. Their tastes were very big, especially for a beast like Zhu, who was even more like a bottomless pit. "You have a problem?" Right now, the waiter was standing off to the side, his mouth wide open. Linley frowned as he asked, "What's wrong?" "Hey little guy. My brother Lei is asking you a question." The scarlet flaming tiger spoke. He hated it when Lin Rei's orders were questioned, especially by this mortal in front of him. Sure enough, after being reprimanded by the scarlet flame tiger, the waiter came back to his senses and stammered with an awkward expression, "Customers, are you serious?" The waiter didn't believe it. In his heart, the three people in front of him were just making fun of him. If he had known earlier, the entire restaurant wouldn't be able to hold all the dishes on the menu, especially when many of the ingredients required the meat of demonic beasts as the main ingredient. Usually, only the people with the highest status in Huanghui City could afford such expensive ingredient. Of course, if one were to open his mouth and ask for an entire book of dishes like Linley, it was likely that no one in Huanghui City would have the courage to do so. Sigh, annoying. Lin Rei naturally understood the waiter's hesitation. However, he really didn't have anything like the nether jade. He turned his head and looked at Zhu, who was watching the show. He stretched out his hand and said, "Take it out. Don't think that I don't know that you were just sealed back then. Moreover, I don't believe that you didn't leave yourself some backup plan or resources." Zhu was dumbfounded. So, after being so extravagant for so long, he was the one who paid the bill in the end. When he thought of that nouveau riche appearance just now, Zhu had the impulse to go up and give him a good beating. Unfortunately, he knew that it was impossible. Now, his freedom was completely in the hands of Lin Rei. If he didn't serve Lin Rei well, he would lose his freedom. Thinking of this, Zhu smiled in relief. "Of course, since we've come here, our first meal naturally has to be bought by the local emperor." As he said this, he put on a fake smile and handed over a netherworld jade that was emitting a faint light to the waiter. Chapter 1330. How is it? Zhu's voice continued to resound in the ears of everyone in the Yuan Tower. "High-grade nether jade should be enough to purchase the items I mentioned earlier." "I am sure it's enough. It's completely enough." The waiter became excited. This was a huge order. If this order was successful, the increase would be considerable. All right. Since you know, then hurry up and go." With that, Lin Rei and the other two all chose to remain silent. Seeing that there was nothing else for him to do, the waiter immediately turned around and left to make preparations. "Looks like it'll be fun in a while. I believe that the city lord of this city should be arriving soon." Lin Rei smiled when he sensed the aura that soared into the sky. Awo! The scarlet flame tiger roared furiously. His face was filled with killing intent. Brother Lei, don't worry. As long as they dare to come, I'll tear them apart. I'll let them know what it's like when an emperor is angry. 1,000,000 corpses will fall. This little tiger, don't get so worked up. Lin Rei understood that little tiger was so worked up because of him. He hurriedly calmed little tiger down and turned his head to look at Zhu, who was rejoicing in his misfortune. He frowned. He could not tolerate Zhu's actions. If it were not for the fact that he had agreed to Zhu's request and that he possessed the item that Lin Rei needed the most, they probably would not have gotten along like this. However, there was naturally a way to get along. Lin Rei could not tolerate Zhu's current actions. Zhu, I know that you have your own pride as an expert. However, I hope that you can put away your pride with me. What did you say? Zhu was enraged. He released his killing intent. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted. It was as cold as winter. He stared angrily at Linley. He couldn't figure out what Linley was capable of. What gave him the right to be so unbridled? If this had been in the past, these words would have been enough to take his life. Zhu, you need to remember that only I know how to return to the Saint's world here. If you want to undo the seal on your domain, you better behave yourself. It's best if you don't play any tricks during this time, Jianqin said. After saying that, Lin Rei did not say anything else. As for Zhu, he quickly calmed down and turned to look at Lin Rei. The temperature within the restaurant rose rapidly. However, it had only happened for an instant and no one there noticed anything amiss. Little tiger, remember, the most important thing for you now is to accumulate your strength and break through to the Saint realm. As for the city lord, leave him to me. Don't worry about this little bastard. After saying that, he gave little tiger a reassuring smile and stopped talking. The scarlet flame tiger wanted to say something, but he did not say it in the end. As for Zhu, he sat to one side unhappily. Lin Rei's actions today had already crossed the limits of what he could endure. He swore that he would make Lin Rei pay a corresponding price once he returned to the Saint's world. Lu Ding and the others hovered in the air not far away from the Yuan Pavilion. The people in the restaurant had not sensed the sudden and terrifying killing intent, but they had sensed it clearly. Everyone, what do you think? Looking down, Yi Futian's face was solemn. Thinking back to the murderous aura just now, that soul-stirring, murderous intent made him feel as if he was in a boundless azure field. There was only murderous intent around him, and only by killing could he survive. At this moment, the people who followed Lu Ding all had stern expressions. Just how many people did he have to kill to condense such a killing intent? He did not dare to think about it because it did not exist in the underworld. Yet, he had encountered it here. Zhong Yaoming nodded as he looked at Lu Ding. He even said what he wanted to say. City Lord, an existence like that is not something we can deal with. The only thing we can do now is to sound him out and see what he plans to do and how long he plans to stay here. If necessary, we will do our best to help. As long as we can get this maleficent existence out, we will agree to anything. As soon as he said that, everyone nodded in unison. After making the decision, they did not hesitate and walked toward the Yuan Pavilion where Lin Rei was. Oh, they're here. Sensing those energies slowly draw closer, a smile appeared on Linley's face. Linley had known about their arrival long ago. Thus, he wasn't surprised at all. Brother Lei, do you want me to create some chaos for them? Xiao Hu asked. No need. Lin Rei shook his head and refused. He continued, this time, I want to get some information about the underworld from them. So, we don't have to do anything. We just have to wait for them to come. The dishes were served one by one. Lin Rei and the others began to eat unhurriedly. However, not long after, Lu Ding and the others came in from outside. Using his divine sense, he sensed their auras and his smile widened. I did not expect that a city lord would come for a wilderness idler like me. At this moment, Lin Rei was really pretending to be innocent. He knew why this group of people was here, but, haha, you must be joking. Lu Ding smiled and walked toward Lin Rei. He bowed and said, I don't know why you are here. Moreover, your auras are a little unfamiliar. You don't seem to be cultivators from the underworld. As soon as he said that, Lin Rei frowned. Obviously, he had underestimated Lu Ding. He did not expect this guy to be able to tell that he was not a cultivator from the underworld from his aura. Lin Rei was interested in Lu Ding. He put down his chopsticks and looked up at Lu Ding with a smile. He raised his hand and pointed at the table beside him. My friend, I ordered too much just now. Why don't we sit down and talk while we eat? Oh! Hearing this, Lu Ding looked over and saw that the dishes on the table beside him were exactly the same as those on Lin Rei's table. Lu Ding frowned when he saw this. He was a smart person. It would be strange if he still did not understand after seeing this. This was enough to prove that the person in front of him clearly knew that they were coming, so he made the reservation in advance. When he thought of this, he became even more vigilant against Lin Rei. It was not a good thing for such a person to appear in his territory. Although he thought about it, he did not refuse. He made an inviting gesture to the group beside him and said, Come. Since this fellow cultivator has made such arrangements, how can we not give him face? As he said that, Lu Ding sat down and grabbed the wine bottle on the table. He raised his head and took a sip of wine. Suddenly, a spicy taste rushed up his throat. Good wine. At this moment the atmosphere was completely open. Looking at Lu Ding, Lin Rei went straight to the point. He said, My friend, I am here for no other reason than to ask you about the underworld. As he said that, he raised his wine cup and made an inviting gesture. However, this scene was different in Lu Ding's eyes. Lin Rei's words proved that he was indeed not from the underworld, but from the outer realm. At this moment it was even more different. The atmosphere became serious. No one spoke. Lin Rei's group and Lu Ding's group looked at each other. The atmosphere was so serious that it made one's hair stand on end. Chapter 1331. The atmosphere grew more and more serious. It was as if a battle could break out at any moment. Ha ha! Suddenly Lin Rei laughed. He laughed very happily. It was as if he had encountered something that made him happy. Looking at Lu Ding and the others, Lin Rei said with a smile, Lord City Lord, do you think there's a need for us to do this? You give me what I need and I'll give you what you need. Tell me, isn't this perfect? There's no need to make sparks fly everywhere. As he said that, he took a sip of wine. With those words, the solemn atmosphere was instantly broken. The atmosphere returned to how it was before. I wonder, fellow Taoist, what do you want to know? Although Lu Ding appeared to be relaxed, his body grew more and more tense. Once Lu Ding said those words, everyone's gazes enveloped Lin Rei. They also wanted to know why the person before them had come. Profound Sect. Was there a sect called the Profound Sect in the underworld? Where was it? How strong was it? Profound Sect? Originally, he thought that Lin Rei would ask him some secrets of the underworld that he could not answer. Unexpectedly, the moment he said those words, he was completely stunned. Not only him, the people who came with him were also stunned. It was not that they had never heard of the Celestial Sect of Wonders. However, in their impression, the Celestial Sect of Wonders seemed to be a very, very small sect. Furthermore, it was within his jurisdiction. You know about it? Lin Rei saw the expressions of the crowd. From their expressions, Lin Rei was able to tell that this group of people before him definitely knew about the Profound Sect. As for Zhong Li's claim that the strongest person in their sect was only a star spirit, Lin Rei no longer believed that after coming here. Furthermore, What exactly was the strength of a star spirit? Earlier, Zhu had said that as long as the people of the underworld left the underworld, their cultivation would be suppressed. Since that was the case, then, what exactly was his level in this place? After coming to this unknown world, if he could enter a sect, perhaps he would be able to find out everything he wanted to know there. For example, how the underworld came to be, and where exactly was the empty underworld located in the universe. Faced with Lin Rei's burning gaze, Lu's expression kept changing. In the end, he opened his mouth and told Lin Rei everything he knew. Senior, the Xuanzong sect is under my jurisdiction, but, as he spoke, Lu Ding stopped, as if he found it difficult to continue. Lu Ding stopped. Lin Rei frowned, a look of displeasure flashing across his face. Continue. Yes. Lu Ding did not dare to be negligent and continued. The Celestial Sect of Wonders is the weakest sect in my jurisdiction. It can't be said to be the weakest sect. It's one of the weakest. Their sect's most recent disciple is only at the star spirit realm, so... As he spoke, he shrugged and didn't continue speaking. Upon hearing these words, Lin Rei narrowed his eyes slightly. It was exactly the same as what Zhongli said. However, the definition of cultivation in this world was different from that in the saint's world. If he were here, what would his cultivation be like? Thinking about it, he raised his head and looked at Lu Ding and the others. A smile flashed across his face. City Lord, may I know what my cultivation level is in the underworld? As he spoke, he instantly released his cultivation of the great perfection Dao fruit realm. Suddenly, the entire Huanghui city was enveloped by Lin Rei's powerful pressure in an instant. Plop, plop. Suddenly, the sound of people falling to the ground rang out. The entire Huanghui city was in chaos. Some of the weaker people fell to the ground and fainted the moment they felt Lin Rei's pressure. Those who were slightly stronger just lay on the ground and didn't faint. Of course, there were also some people. Kneeling on the ground, they tried to resist the pressure with their own cultivation. Even City Lord Lu Ding and the others directly knelt on the ground when they felt the pressure. Their bodies trembled as if the person in front of them was an emperor. They didn't dare to look directly at him. How is this possible? Kneeling on the ground, his body trembled. He was extremely shocked. He didn't even think that Lin Rei would have such a powerful cultivation. Just by releasing his cultivation, he could put them in such a sorry state. If that was the case, then in a real battle, let alone a single move, they wouldn't even be able to move half a move. Ah! At this moment, just as everyone was shocked by Lin Rei's cultivation, a miserable cry rang out from the side. Looking over, they saw a young man lying on the ground with a ferocious expression. He was in extreme pain as he branded Lin Rei and the others. That youth had left a very deep impression on Linli and the others, especially the unwillingness in his eyes. It was as if he didn't want to submit to others. It was a very impactful sight. Senior, hurry up. Your pressure is too strong. The people of Huanghui City can't bear it. Lu Ding said quickly. Not only the people of the city, but even he, the city lord, couldn't bear it. Although he didn't know who the person in front of him was, his cultivation was extremely powerful. Moreover, he couldn't sense his cultivation at all. However, one thing was for sure. The cultivation of the person in front of him had already surpassed the crepe myrtle star and entered a deeper level. Looking at the anxious looks on Lu Ding and the others' faces, Linli shrugged and nodded in boredom, agreeing to their request. In just an instant, the pressure disappeared. Everyone felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted off their shoulders. Cold sweat covered their entire bodies, and they were all drenched. At this moment, there was a different scene in Huanghui City. City Lord, I wonder what level is my cultivation in the netherworld? Hearing this, Lu Ding and the others were stunned. They looked troubled. Only Lu Ding took the initiative to step forward. He bowed and said, "Senior, your cultivation is not something that we can judge." "What do you mean?" "Senior, your cultivation has already surpassed the crepe myrtle star realm. We don't know the details. Our cultivation is at most at the low level of the star venerable realm. We really don't know what the realms above are." Hearing this, Lin Rei was a little disappointed. The crepe myrtle star was the highest realm that Zhongli had mentioned. However, suddenly, Lu Ding spoke once more. "Senior, my Huanghui city is only a 9th grade city. If you head to a higher grade city, you might be able to find the answer you want to find. Moreover, there are even more powerful cultivators there. I believe that they should know the answer you want to know." Hearing this, Lu Ding used all his strength. The reason why he said this was because he didn't want Lin Rei to continue staying here. A strong and uncontrollable cultivator like him was undoubtedly a threat to him this time. He wouldn't allow this to happen. He also wouldn't allow his dignity to be challenged. "Are you chasing me away?" Looking up at Lu Ding, a faint smile appeared on his face. He knew what Lu Ding was thinking. Lu Ding just didn't want him to continue staying here. However, could Lin Rei let them do as they wished? What a joke. Although he didn't get what he wanted to know here, if he let this place become stronger and used this place as a base to explore other areas, then would there be powerful cultivators coming here? At that time, what he wanted to know would come to him voluntarily. Chapter 1332. Although the 9th grade Huanghui city was weak, it was a place where one could rise up easily. At least, from Lin Rei's point of view, it was the same. He believed. A smile appeared on his face. Looking at Lu Ding's anxious expression, he smiled. "City Lord, you are too polite. Although there are many strong cultivators in other cities, I still have some matters to settle here." Thinking of Zhongli, Lin Rei continued, "In a few days, I would like to make a trip to the Xian Sect. I wonder if you don't need me to lead the way?" Hearing this, Lu Ding smiled bitterly. His brows furrowed tightly, and all his hopes were dashed. "Oh, right!" As if he suddenly thought of something, Lin Rei reached into his chest and searched for a while. Finally, when he pulled out his hand, there was a jade bottle in his hand. Looking at the jade bottle, Lin Li smiled and handed it to Lu Ding. He said, "City Lord, take a look. This is my fault. This is a 9 transformation golden pill. Its effect is excellent and it's beneficial to cultivation." This, looking at the jade bottle, Lu Ding wanted to reject it. However, thinking of the fact that he had not broken through for many years, he was tempted. However, out of caution, he did not reach out his hand. This was the first time they had met. How could he give away a pill that could increase one's cultivation? Seeing Lu Ding's hesitation, Lin Rei was not angry. If this happened to him, he would not accept it easily. Who knew if this pill was poisonous? "City Lord, take this pill as a reward for showing me the way. Don't worry, there are no harmful substances in the pill. Besides," the corners of his mouth curled up, and a bloodthirsty expression appeared on his face. He continued, "If I want to kill someone, why would I use such a despicable method?" As he spoke, he waved his hand. Saint's spiritual chi was used on his palm, and the pill bottle in his hand floated in the air. Finally, it landed in Lu Ding's arms. In comparison, Lu Ding was helpless. Since the other party had gone to this extent, he could not say anything. After all, he still had to give face to the other party. After all, the other party's cultivation was so strong. If he rejected him openly and angered the other party, he would be the one to suffer in the end. Thinking about it, he reached out and grabbed the pill bottle. He stood up and bowed. "If so, then, thank you for your generosity." The Celestial Sect of Wonders. "Senior, if you have the time, please feel free to instruct me at any time." After saying that, he took a step forward and a jade pendant appeared in his hand. Senior, this is my communication jade pendant. As long as you want to go to the celestial sect of wonders, just crush this jade pendant. This junior is always waiting for you. Amen. All right, this sovereign will remember. He stretched out his hand and put away Lu Ding's jade pendant. Then, he gestured for them to sit down and continued, take a seat. How can we let something so delicious go to waste? After saying that, he lowered his head and started eating again. At this moment, the matter had already been decided. He might have to stay in Huanghui City for a longer period of time. He raised his head and said to Zhu, during this period of time, if you have nothing to do, go out and take a look. See what kind of organization this Tao Alliance is and how powerful they are. If they don't attack, destroy them. Boom. Lin Rei did not use any vocabulary when he spoke. Lu Ding and the others heard him clearly. This news was like a bolt from the blue, striking their hearts. As the saying goes, the speaker doesn't mean anything, but the listener does. With regards to Lin Rei, they didn't want to say anything more. What did it mean to be strong? This was King strong. They were still thinking about how to invite him out. However, the first thing he said was to destroy the Tao Alliance. What kind of tone was that? What kind of joke was that? How powerful was the Tao Alliance? How many celestial body stage cultivators were there? How could they be destroyed by you? Just as Lu Ding and the others were deep in thought, Zhu's voice rang out, I say, Linley, you're a saint after all. Why do you want to destroy others at the slightest provocation? Besides, what right do you have to make me go? Didn't we agree earlier that I will only protect your personal safety? It's not good for you to go back on your word like this. After hearing those words, Lu Ding and the others felt much better. After all, this person's words were not as unpleasant as Lin Rei's. However, just as this thought appeared in their minds, Zhu's voice rang out again. Furthermore, is this Tao Alliance worthy of this sovereign taking action? In my opinion, this little guy beside you is just right to take action. This way, there will be no need for this sovereign to take action. After saying that, he ignored Lin Rei and began to eat. Lin Rei felt helpless as he looked at Zhu. He knew that this guy was uncontrollable. There was nothing he could do. Who asked him to be so strong? However, he didn't notice that Lu Ding's expression froze the moment Zhu finished speaking. He originally thought that Zhu was different from Lin Rei. He didn't expect that Zhu was even crazier than Lin Rei. Disdaining to take action? Damn it, this is the Tao Alliance. Can you guys be more serious? Perhaps the Tao Alliance was nothing in Lin Rei's eyes. However, in Lu Ding's heart, the Tao Alliance was a supreme existence. It was because of the Tao Alliance that they were able to pass their days peacefully. Soon, everyone quieted down. The meal was finished just as they had imagined. Lu Ding's heart skipped a beat as he ate the meal. It was also the most painful experience in his life. He swore that he would never feel this way again. It was too unbearable. After they finished eating, the dishes were still being served. There were too many dishes in one menu. However, they still hadn't finished eating after eating so much. This made Lu Ding and the others wonder how much Lin Rei had ordered. He stood up and strolled over to Lin Rei, who was eating with his head lowered. He said, Senior, look, we've finished eating. I wonder if we can leave first? Lu Ding was afraid that Lin Rei wouldn't let him go. In the end, Lu Ding said that he had finished his business in the city. In the end, Lu Ding and the others left with ease. After watching everyone leave, Lin Rei put down his chopsticks and looked at the chair. He smiled. He had already gotten the result he wanted. He was just saying that he wanted to destroy the Tao Alliance just now to intimidate the other party. Of course, he also had another thought. If Lu Ding really informed the upper echelons of the Tao Alliance to come, he might be able to obtain more information from him. Especially the method to help Zhu break free from the sealing formation and the location of his sealer. In the netherworld, What Linley feared the most was encountering a sealer. He didn't want to encounter a sealer as soon as he entered the netherworld, only to end up like a candle and be sealed away by a sealer. If that really happened, there would be no hope for him to return to the holy world. His daughter, wife, and sect would all decline because of him. Of course, although the 9 heavens Xuanzong sect could survive in the divine world, it was only the lowest level of existence. Zhu, do you still remember the appearance of the old man who sealed you? What do you mean? Zhu was stunned. Nonsense. Of course, I'll take a detour when I see him in the future. Do you think I'll be like you, overestimating myself and touching a tiger's butt? Chapter 1333. Zhu was extremely impressed by Linley's ability to bring up the taboo topic. Originally, after being released, he did not want to think about those rotten things of the past. Unexpectedly, he did not want to think about it. However, Linley insisted on bringing it up. He had no choice. A helpless expression appeared on his face as he smiled bitterly. I will never forget that old man's face, but... He looked at Lin Ray and reminded him, that guy isn't someone you can touch right now. Moreover, that guy won't appear in such a low-level province. Don't worry. I can't guarantee anything else, but I'm very sure of this. This Lu province has nothing. The nether chi is so thin. It won't do him any good to come here. Lin Ray secretly heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Zhu's words. He relaxed. As long as he didn't encounter a sealer, everything would be fine. Alright. If that's the case, let's play around here. As long as I find what I want and accumulate some nether jade, we'll be able to leave here and return to the Saint's world. After saying what he wanted to say, he did not continue. Right now, the bloodline grass was easy to deal with and the nether jades weren't difficult. The most important thing now was the sealing formation that sealed Zhu. That thing wasn't something he could break just because he wanted to. Even the simplest method of breaking the formation was to break it with brute force. It also depended on one's strength. Even Zhu, who was so strong, couldn't do anything about it, let alone him, who was only at the Dao fruit realm. If he wanted to break the sealing formation, he had to break through to the eternal life realm at the very least. That was the lowest standard. Even if he broke through to the eternal life realm, he couldn't break it unless he continued to cultivate until he surpassed the sealer. As such, breaking the sealing formation was absolutely foolproof. There wouldn't be any problems. Just like that, Lin Ray stayed in the Origin Tower after eating a meal. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Within these 3 days, Linley had gained a thorough understanding of Huang Huiqing. He didn't know much about Huang Huiqing, but when he did, he was stunned. He knew that the cultivators in this city were weak, but he didn't expect them to be this weak. In the entire city, only Lu Ding and the few people he had brought with him had decent strength. The rest were trash. It was not an exaggeration at all. He believed that even the weakest disciple from his sect would be able to crush everyone in the city. In Huanghui City, there were both ordinary people and cultivators. It was a city of cultivators. Within it, there were places to buy and sell heavenly materials and earthly treasures. There was also an auction house and a chamber of commerce. Most importantly, there were also the 4 great unions. As for the cultivation clans, they existed as well. The main city of Huanghui City was led by the 3 great clans. Among them, Lu Ding was the current clan leader of the Lu clan, which was the head of the 3 great clans. The remaining 2 clans were the Wang clan and the Shi clan. Among them, other than the Lu clan, the second strongest was the Shi clan. The Shi clan's rock explosion spell was especially famous. It was said that when a cultivator who cultivated the rock explosion spell reached a high realm, his entire body would be covered by a special mineral. Even a cultivator who was a realm higher than his predecessor would have no way to defend against it. The remaining Wang clan was also a merchant clan. It could be said that 2/3 of the economic lifeline of Huanghui City was in the hands of the Wang clan. Most of the shops in the city belonged to the Wang clan. The cultivators in the clan were also very powerful. It could be said that even if the other two clans wanted to destroy them, they would have to think carefully about whether they could withstand the economic blow. In the early morning, a refreshing breeze blew past. The door of the room where Lin Rei was opened and Lin Rei walked out of the room. Today, Lu Ding was coming here. He had sent a message saying that he had something to discuss. Now, in front of the door, the old man looked up at the blue sky and his mood was inexplicably good. I don't know why Lu Ding is looking for me. Thinking of Lu Ding's idea of wanting him to leave, Lin Rei felt that it was very funny. In fact, Lu Ding didn't have to do this. One should know that with his cultivation, if he wanted Huanghui City, there was no need to talk nonsense with him. It would be easier to just kill him and let him take it for himself. It was just that Lu Ding was confused by the situation. Of course, Lin Rei didn't have the slightest intention to explain this. After all, this was actually quite interesting. He tidied his clothes and walked towards the remote restaurant. Just now, he had probed with his divine sense and found that Lu Ding had arrived. At the door of the remote restaurant, Lu Ding came with Wang Yu. After 3 days, he came here again. Wang Yu was deeply moved. Just think about it. 3 days ago, he felt the feeling of death here. Now, he came here again and saw the man who frightened him again. How could he not be nervous? You're here. Lin Rei, who happened to walk out of Ho Yuan Yuan, saw the two people at the door and waved. It was early in the morning, so there weren't many people in the restaurant. Hearing Lin Rei's greeting, Lu Ding and Wang Yu's expressions were tense. They hurriedly stepped in front of Lin Rei and bowed respectfully. "Senior, have you been well these days? What is this guy talking about?" Hearing Lu Ding's words, Wu Yu, who followed Lu Ding, was speechless. As a cultivator, unless he met an enemy that he couldn't defeat, or his life was coming to an end, there was no saying that he was not well. Wu Yu rolled his eyes and said to Lu Ding, "Senior, this time we came less because a secret territory in the secluded valley will be opened soon. So, I wanted to invite you to come and watch the opening of the secret territory in the secluded valley." "I don't know," Wu Yu was not sure. He lowered his head and was very nervous. After all, he had seen the strength of the person in front of him. If he could be invited, it would be beneficial for the secluded valley in the future. As one of the leaders of the secluded valley, how could he not be nervous? Yes. Senior, when the Dragon Spring secret territory in the secluded valley opens, the disciples of the various sects in the Lu province will gather there. Maybe you can meet the people of the Xuanzong sect there. Lu Ding hurriedly added. Oh, really? To be honest, he was a little surprised that the two of them suddenly invited him less. After all, his previous intimidation had made the two of them completely afraid of him. But now, the two of them still dared to invite him less. He had to admit that Wu Yu was very brave. He raised his head and stared at the two of them. After thinking for a while, a smile appeared on his face. "I can go to the secluded valley. But, Senior, please say it. As long as you say it, I can give you anything." As long as Lin Rei agreed, he could give him some money. "Oh, actually, you don't have to be so nervous." Seeing Wu Yu like this, Lin Rei smiled and continued, "I need some underworld elixir recipes, elixir refining techniques, and bloodline grass." "No problem, Senior. You can enter the secluded valley's library as you wish. Although I can't guarantee that the library in the secluded valley is comprehensive, it is one of the best in the Lu province." Hearing this, Lu Ding's eyes widened. The Sutra Depository was the foundation of a sect. It was the symbol of a sect's rise and fall. But now, Worryless had agreed so easily. This was, are you sure? Lu Ding was shocked, but Lin Rei was even more shocked. No one knew the importance of the library better than he did. If a sect was compared to a person, then the library was the heart of this person. It was the source of all power. Now that the Daylily had agreed so readily, Linley couldn't quite believe it. You really want to open the library in the secluded valley to me? Lin Ray asked for confirmation again. That's right. Regarding Lin Ray's confirmation, Wu Yu nodded without any hesitation. Looking at Wu Yu, Lin Ray was interested. Can you make this decision in the secluded valley? I don't want to go to the secluded valley with you, and you can't make this decision. If that happens, I will be angry. Little guy, I'm very scary when I'm angry. I don't need to worry about millions of corpses. You thought it through? Wu Yu, you have to think it through. You're not the only one in the secluded valley. There's also the elder group, the Grand Elder, and the Grand Ancestor. Are you sure you can make this decision? Lu Ding could not bear it and advised. You have to know that if they don't want to, they can take away your identity at any time. They might even punish you because of this. Indeed, upon hearing these words, Worryless was stunned. A hint of hesitation flashed through his previously resolute eyes. Indeed, he hadn't considered these things before. He had only wanted to use Linley to bolster his reputation. As for the existence of the Council of Elders, as well as the Grand Elders, he hadn't considered these things. Why? Do you want to change your mind now? Seeing Wu Yu's hesitation, a smile appeared on his face. Think carefully. Don't make the wrong decision. As he spoke, he picked up the wine on the table and began to drink. He believed that Wu Yu had his own ideas. Although they had only met twice, he had a deep impression of Wu Yu. The two of them were silent. Lin Ray did not wait any longer. His time was not to be wasted. Did he have to wait a day for Wu Yu to think about it? Are you kidding me? He stood up and walked outside. Remember, if you make a decision, go to the backyard and tell me, follower. After speaking, Lin Ray's voice disappeared from the Yuan Tower and his figure disappeared from their sight. Huanghui City was very big. Compared to the cities in the Divine World, it was much bigger. Moreover, this was the most barren place in the Lu province. As such, he really wanted to see the other cities. Walking in Huanghui City for 3 days, he had only passed by the restaurant and the shop that he had destroyed. As for the other places, he was not sure. Walking on the street, he looked around. He wanted to find the Alchemy Guild. He wanted to see the difference between the Alchemy Guild and the Divine World and the Holy World. If it was really the same, how strong were those alchemy guilds? Where was their headquarters? Of course, the most important thing was to go to the Alchemy Guild and find the bloodline grass. The Alchemy Guild mainly refined pills. Naturally, they would have the materials to refine pills. He deeply believed that if the Alchemy Guild did not have something, the chances of it being found in other places were very small. Along the way, he saw many shops. Moreover, there were many people coming and going. There were many cultivators, but most of them were in the lower Nebula Realm. Of course, there were also some higher Nebula Realm cultivators, but there were not many of them. Looking at the situation, Lin Ray frowned slightly and muttered in his heart, "Is there really an expert here?" In the Holy World, there were gods, god emperors, god monarchs, and even Tao fruit saints everywhere. Every second-rate sect would have a few of them. As for the stronger sects, there were even earth saints and heavenly saints. But here, is it really like what Lu Ding said? The place is barren? He could not figure it out, so he stopped thinking about it. After all, this matter was not important to him. Little brother, please wait. Coming back to his senses, Lin Ray looked at the young man who was passing by. He took a step forward and said, "Little brother, this is my first time here. Please forgive me for disturbing you." It's nothing." Being suddenly called out to, he had wanted to explode. But seeing Linley being so courteous and polite, he instantly suppressed his urge to explode. Seeing that the young man was not angry, Lin Ray smiled and continued, Little brother, I would like to ask, is the Alchemy Union easy to walk around? Alchemy Union? Looking at Lin Ray, the young man was stunned. That's right. Seeing that Lin Ray nodded, the young man nodded and turned around. He pointed at a road in the distance and said, "Go straight on this road and turn right at the end. When you see the Wang clan's pharmacy, turn left and you will reach the Alchemy Union in a few minutes." Hearing such detailed information, Lin Ray smiled and bowed. "Thank you, little brother." "Oh, it's nothing." Shaking his head, he turned around and left. Looking at the young man's departing figure, Lin Ray sighed. There are still many good people around. After saying that, he turned around and walked toward the direction the young man had pointed. Lin Ray was not in a hurry. After walking for an hour, he arrived at the main point of the road the young man had pointed out. Raising his head, the words Alchemy Union appeared in front of Lin Ray's eyes. "I'm finally here." Looking at the huge door in front of him, Lin Ray had a feeling that this was the Holy World's Alchemy Union. Suppressing his excitement, he stepped through the door of the Alchemy Union and arrived at the main hall of the Alchemy Union. "This guest, may I know the purpose of your visit?" As soon as Linley stepped into the main hall, one of the attendants, who had always been by his side, stepped forward and spoke. "Buying pills? Buying or selling spirit herbs? Or are you looking for an alchemist to refine a specific pill?" Hearing the attendant's question, Lin Ray frowned slightly. He looked around and saw that the interior of the main hall did not give off a luxurious feeling. Instead, it was simple and grand, giving off a comfortable feeling. "This guest? This guest, may I know the purpose of your visit?" Seeing that Lin Ray did not speak, the attendant's good temper disappeared under Lin Ray's silence. "Dear guest, if you don't have anything else to do, then I won't accompany you any further. There are other guests waiting for me over there." As he spoke, he saw that Linley was still staring ahead. He shook his head helplessly and turned to leave. "Do you have bloodline grass here?" Chapter 1334. Bloodline grass? The attendant paused, turned around and looked at Lin Ray with a doubtful gaze. He had been working in the Alchemy Guild for so many years. Although he wasn't an alchemist, after so many years, he still knew a little about some basic spiritual herbs. Even if it was some rare spiritual herbs, he still knew a little about them. But this bloodline grass, needless to say, after working here for so many years, this was the first time he heard of this kind of medicinal herb. He even suspected that the guest in front of him was here to buy spiritual herbs. "That's right, bloodline grass." Lin Ray nodded. Seeing the attendant's doubtful face, it was obvious that the other party hadn't heard of it before. Lin Ray didn't say much. "Call out your manager or alchemist here. If you don't know, perhaps they should know. Bloodline grass is very important to me, so please hurry up." In order to not delay the attendant's work, he could only do this. As the saying goes, the speaker has no intention, but the listener has an intention. Seeing Lin Ray speaking in a commanding tone, for a moment, he was a little displeased. As an attendant of the Alchemy Guild, although he couldn't be compared to the big shots in Huanghui City, in the eyes of some small people, he still had some weight. After all, if they wanted to cooperate with the Alchemy Guild, they would need to introduce them here. As the saying goes, being in a high position, some selfish and narrow-minded people would change their mentality when looking at others. For example, the attendant now, in his opinion, his status was more noble than Lin Ray. At this moment, Lin Ray's tone was commanding him, which made him angry. Looking at Lin Ray, his eyes widened. His anger came from his heart and his eyes were full of disdain. He didn't hide it at all. "Kid, do you know who you're talking to?" Lin Ray, looking at the attendant, Lin Ray was stunned. What was the meaning of this? Who was he talking to? Wasn't he just an attendant of the Alchemy Guild? "What, you're the president of the Alchemy Guild?" The disdain in the attendant's eyes was reflected in Linley's eyes. Linley's previously polite demeanor disappeared. Lin Ray disliked people like attendants the most. What's the matter? Isn't it just an alchemy guild attendant? He wasn't even an alchemist, yet he was so arrogant and despotic. Could it be that the alchemist guild was filled with such people? Linley was amused by the waiter's words. However, his killing intent instantly flared up. Killing intent flashed through his eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to cause any trouble here, the waiter would have died in a matter of minutes. Suppressing the killing intent in his heart, he looked at the attendant and forced out a smile. He continued, "Little guy, go and call your union's manager out. Moreover, do you think you can withstand my anger?" As the saying goes, if the matter does not concern you personally, don't worry about it. It's best that you don't get involved in this matter. Obediently go and report it. If you continue to talk too much here, or if you have any thoughts about me, at that time, not to mention the manager of the Alchemy Guild, even the president of the Alchemy Guild won't be able to protect you. Moreover, do you think your little life is worth anything to be able to invite the president of the Alchemy Guild? Lin Ray was very clear about this point. Of course, he couldn't guarantee that he was the kind of person who would protect his own. However, even if that was the case, could the president of the Alchemy Guild be his opponent? What a joke! Hearing Linley's words, the faces of the attendants grew darker and darker. Some of the people in the surrounding area, who rarely came to buy and sell pills and spirit medicines, began to gather around Linley and Li Mu, forming a circle around them. Hearing Lin Ray's words, some people revealed a look of schadenfreude. Some of them looked at Lin Ray with sympathy. In their opinion, causing trouble in the Alchemy Guild was no different from courting death. At this moment, Lin Ray was the one who was courting death in their hearts. Sigh, he's overestimating himself. Causing trouble in the Alchemy Guild, isn't he courting death? That's right. I don't know whose foolish son this guy is. He actually did such a thing. If his family knew, would they tie him up and send him to the Alchemy Guild? Isn't that right? What kind of existence is the Alchemy Guild? Is it something that anyone can provoke? What a joke. Sigh, what a pity. Such a handsome young man is so wasted. In an instant, the surrounding people revealed looks of pity and began to discuss enthusiastically. Moreover, their voices were so loud that Lin Ray heard them. In an instant, Lin Ray's face darkened. What was the meaning of this? Were they looking down on him? Although he was displeased, he didn't argue with the crowd. After all, people were like this. They were the amalgamation of gossip. There was no other way. However, Lin Ray couldn't tolerate the attendant anymore. In any case, he was a powerful expert. In the divine realm, he was an existence that suppressed all the gods. Yet, he was being looked down upon by a young man. This was truly a blow to his self-esteem. When his gaze landed on the attendant again, his gaze gradually changed. He no longer concealed his killing intent. Originally, he didn't want to cause trouble. However, it seemed that trouble had come knocking on his door. At this moment, the attendant didn't know that Lin Ray had submitted to him. As for him, he was still feeling proud of the words that the surrounding people were discussing. Because of this, the attendant became even more arrogant. It was as if the heavens were the boss and he was the second in command. He had been indirectly praised to the heavens. Young man, the Alchemy Guild isn't something that you can offend. If you know what's good for you, kneel down, kowtow, and admit your mistake. Then, this matter will be resolved. Otherwise, as he spoke, his eyes narrowed and killing intent flashed through them. Looking at the crowd and the attendant, Lin Ray's interest was greatly piqued. He continued, "What if I refuse? What can you do about it? Young man, I'm giving you a way out but you don't want it. Since that's the case, then prepare to accept the judgment of fate." At this moment, Lin Rei had already been sentenced to death in the attendant's heart. As for the attendant, he didn't know that he had also been sentenced to death in Lin Rei's heart. He raised his head and shouted towards the entrance, "Lord Guard, someone is causing trouble in the Alchemy Guild. Please execute him." Once those words were spoken, everyone looked towards the direction that the attendant was looking at. When they saw a group of soldiers wearing red armor walking over from the entrance, they subconsciously opened up a path for the soldiers to pass by. Ta, ta, ta. When the sound of footsteps entered everyone's ears, it was as if a clear sky hammer was hammering on their hearts. Dong, dong, dong. It was very frightening. Naturally, Lin Rei noticed the group of soldiers. However, he didn't put them in his eyes at all. On the contrary, the attendant had a fawning expression on his face as he ran to the front of the soldiers. He bowed respectfully and said, "Lord Guard, this is the person who was being impudent in the Alchemy Guild. He even said that our Alchemy Guild is nothing but a fart. He even said that the guards with cultivation are like vermin in the Alchemy Guild, ants among ants. Listen to him. How can I tolerate him insulting all of you? Therefore, Lord, let's use this as a warning and let them understand that our Alchemy Guild's prestige is still there. Not just anyone can provoke the Alchemy Guild." Once those words were spoken, it had to be said that the skill of adding fuel to the fire was really good. Chapter 1335. Sure enough, after hearing the servant's words, a group of 6 guards instantly exploded with killing intent. Their eyes locked onto Lin Rei, as if they were about to attack. "Are you sure you want to attack?" Looking at them, Lin Rei finally spoke. He still didn't want to cause trouble here. After all, the strength of the Alchemy Union had already exceeded his imagination. Of course, if they really wanted to attack, then there would be no need for him to be afraid. Hearing how arrogant Linley was, some of the onlookers couldn't help but feel pity for Linley. In the end, those who wanted to speak up and explain themselves were all pushed far away, no longer paying any attention to Linley. They became mere spectators. You're just a nobody. Let's see if you can't pay me back. Now you know how powerful I am." They were incomparably delighted. Thinking that Lin Rei was about to die, they couldn't help but become even more excited. "Guest, those who humiliate our union cannot be allowed to live. So, please go to hell." The leader of the guards raised the long sword in his hand and placed it in front of his chest. Suddenly, sword intent filled the entire hall. Hiss! This sword intent is too strong. Such a person is actually a guard of the Union. Oh my God! Sword intent in the realm. This person's cultivation is too strong. I wonder which family's disciple he is from. If he can be accepted into the family, will they be able to obtain more resources for the city defense battle at the end of that year? TSK, not simple. Seeing the strength of the leader of the guards, there was no lack of people from the aristocratic families in the city. This kind of person was exactly what they needed. In a moment, everyone started to have ulterior motives. On the contrary, Lin Rei helplessly shook his head at the leader's decision. He felt that it was a pity that he made such an incorrect decision. In Lin Rei's eyes, he didn't care whether the other party was a simple genius or not. In his opinion, as long as the other party was on his must-kill list, even if the other party was the King of Heaven, even if the other party's father was Li Gang, it was useless. Looking at the young man, Lin Rei helplessly shook his head and sighed. His face was full of regret. "I really don't know how your brain is developed. Since you don't use your brain to think, then there's no point in keeping you." Whoosh! As he spoke, Lin Rei's figure suddenly disappeared. What? Of those present, only the guards were slightly stronger. Seeing the guards vanish, the leader of the guards sheathed his sword and looked around warily. How is this possible? How can this person be so fast? His cultivation can't be completed. Suddenly, his expression changed drastically. Not good, this person's cultivation is very strong, quickly leave, Poochie. The sound of flesh being cut was heard, and at this moment, the guard leader's voice came to an abrupt halt. Yu, feeling the pain coming from his throat, he looked in shock at Lin Rei, who had already appeared. He reached out and touched his neck. When he raised his hand to look, he saw a scarlet color appear, and a deathly gray color flashed in his eyes. Seeing the guard leader like this, Lin Rei glanced at him expressionlessly and then ignored him. He turned around and looked at the remaining people. The corners of his lips curled up slightly, revealing his bloodthirsty expression. How is this possible? How can this guy be so strong? His cultivation. This guy, even though he is in the Alchemy Guild, he actually dared to do such a thing. Could it be that he really doesn't want to leave the Alchemy Guild? It's too late, it's too late. Someone died in the Alchemy Guild and he wants to leave. The surrounding people were discussing incessantly. Lin Rei's strength was beyond their expectations. In their opinion, Lin Rei had no hope of surviving. Who would have thought that the situation would be reversed, and it would be so straightforward? Put on. At this moment, the guard leader regained his senses and looked at the guard leader's corpse. A chill ran down his spine. At this moment, he realized that he seemed to have offended someone extraordinary. Lin Rei ignored the surrounding people's discussion. He turned around and fixed his gaze on the guard leader on the ground. The bloodthirsty expression on his face became even more intense. Brat, I originally only wanted you to accompany your manager. Since you want to court death, I will fulfill your wish today. I will let you understand that there are some people in this world that you cannot afford to offend. Even if you are in the Alchemy Guild, so what? There are still some people that you cannot afford to offend. After he finished speaking, he took a step forward and appeared in front of the remaining guards. A sword ray flashed by and the corpses of the guards fell to the ground. Their deaths were exactly the same as the guard leaders. There was no difference at all. You, this is the Alchemy Guild. If you do this, the president will not let you off. Even when he was about to die, the guard leader was still using the power behind him as a bargaining chip to threaten Lin Rei. In Lin Rei's opinion, this was ridiculous. Shaking his head, he raised his head and looked at the Alchemy Guild. Manager of the Alchemy Guild, get the hell out here. 1 minute, I will only give you 1 minute. If I don't see you all, then, after taking a glance at the Alchemy Guild, he continued, the entire Alchemy Guild will be destroyed. From today onwards, the Alchemy Guild will no longer exist in Huanghui City. After he finished speaking, he lowered his head and looked at the guard leader. With a sneer, he said, today, I will let you know what kind of existence you have offended. The power that you think is extraordinary in front of me is nothing. Everyone was shocked by Lin Rei's words. He was trying to challenge the entire Alchemy Guild by himself. At the Alchemy Guild, sounds of furnaces exploding could be heard. Following the sounds of furnaces exploding, angry songs could be heard. In a room located in the deepest part of the Alchemy Guild, an old man's hand trembled and a piece of calligraphy was destroyed. Raising his head, he looked at the source of the sound with killing intent. How many years has it been? How many years has it been since someone dared to cause trouble in the Alchemy Guild? Putting down the writing brush in his hand, he walked out of the room and headed towards Lin Rei's location. As for the remaining upper echelons of the Alchemy Guild, they did not dare to delay and headed towards the source of the sound. Originally, it was just a business transaction. It was a very simple matter. But now, it turned out like this. To put it nicely, it was a business dispute. But to put it bluntly, it was just someone who had nothing better to do. It could have been resolved perfectly, but releasing his divine sense, he sensed that more than 10 people were heading towards him. A smile appeared on his face. Today, he was going to make an example out of them. Thinking about it, The boss's family must have been suppressed by Lu Ding. Otherwise, it was impossible for these people to not recognize him. Glancing at the crowd, Lu Ding walked towards a table at the side and sat down. Looking at the guard leader who was sitting on the ground, he sneered, "In a while, even if I don't do anything to you, I'm afraid that the powerful person behind you will cut you into pieces." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.